from finishing the Cooper River Bridge run?
April 1st, 2023.
But why is it popping up? Oh, 2023.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Wow.
That's when you were training, but still not losing.
Training and gaining.
Training and gaining.
Not the gains that Armstrong Gaines wants, not the gains I wanted.
No.
I'll tell you that.
No.
I was just gaining.
You were just gaining.
I just talked to Dana last night. I was like, hey, am I going down to the CRBR to cover it for Harris Theater? She's like, let me think about it. So I might go down and still have some fun doing so.
When is that?
It's the first weekend of April. April's kind of funny because like that first weekend is actually like kind of 30, 31, 1, you know what I'm saying? But then I would say the first weekend is actually that following weekend. Let me see.
Yeah, check because, well, let's see.
Okay, so April.
I see April 4th and 6th.
The first weekend is technically, yes. So March is like 30, 31, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, it's the first weekend. So the bridge run would be on the 5th, April 5th.
Okay. And then we leave for our cruise the following weekend.
Yep. We leave what, on the 12th?
On the
yes,
12th.
on the 12th. And so here's the funny thing also leading up into April. So the first week of April was shaping up to be crazy for me.
Yeah.
Because John, Joy, and their kids, so my brother, sister-in-law, and their children have decided that they want to go to Disney and Universal for their spring break. And their spring break is that week, kind of that first week of April. And now that I'm a pass holder,
You were thinking about going down.
I was like, well, I could come. And here's the thing. They've tried to do Disney before, and they literally just walked around the park pushing strollers and had no clue how to use the system.
Oh,
Like,
no.
Didn't ride any rides.
No.
Just stood in lines, dipped out, went to stand in others, then tried to go here, there, and everywhere. They could not figure out how fast passes were. None of it. So they were like, we don't want to do that again.
No.
I said, please don't do
Not
that.
after spending that money.
No, exactly.
Oh, my God.
Even with a military discount.
Yeah.
It's still a lot.
No, it's still a lot.
And so I said, well, I could come down for like the first 2 days.
Okay.
Because they're going to do 2 days of Universal and 4 days of Disney.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. They're doing the whole shebang. Park hoppers everywhere.
Wow.
So I was like, why don't I come down your first 2 days of Disney, whichever days you decide for those to be.
Yes.
And I will show you the ropes.
Yes.
I'll show you how to use the transportation system. I'll show you how to hop. I'll show you how to book the lightning lanes.
Yes.
I will walk you through all of this so that you guys will actually have fun there.
Yes.
And not just blow your money. This is silly.
I mean, the boys and Evie too, like they want Evie, sorry.
Got it.
In
It's okay.
In my brain, it's Evie.
It spells like Evie, but because she's Evelyn, they did Evie. They did the softie.
See, now that you said that she's
Yeah.
Evelyn, I'll commit that.
Yeah. It's fine. It happens all the time.
They want to ride rides. I mean, that's kind of the whole
Yes.
point.
Exactly. And so we are going to make sure that happens. I'm going to show them everything. Then I'm going to come back home. They're going to continue on with Universal and more days at Disney and everything because I can't be away that much. We are literally leaving the next weekend.
I know.
And I think that same week is Lily. No, that's not Lily's spring break. Her spring break is the week that we're on the cruise. Okay. I know.
Sorry, Lil.
Mom of the year. Didn't realize that when we booked it. Sorry. I know I could look at CMS's calendar, but I don't. That's just another blind spot for me in my life. My kids have always handled their schedule, their homework, everything. I have nothing to do with it. As far as I'm concerned, they're raising themselves.
Yeah, well, and you feel like they would alert you to be like,
Yes.
Mom, here comes an important date.
I think that they would, and they do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking at the calendar. I'm like, okay, these are the days. These are the lighter crowd days. Like I looked at the Disney, calendar where they'll show you what's traditionally a lighter crowd day, a heavier crowd day.
nice.
And so I was like, we're going to go to Epcot on the 31st. We're going to then do Animal Kingdom and I think Hollywood Studios on the 1st. And then you guys will know what to do for Magic Kingdom when you decide to go with your family a couple days later.
Okay.
So I've already planned this, tickets, the whole thing. And then, okay, this is what I was going to say is funny about me saying on air. It's almost like I spoke this into existence.
Are you going to be on air?
Yeah.
Where?
Okay, so if you listen to the Manny and Loren morning show on
Yes.
95.1,
Yes.
Loren's going to be out a couple of days that week in April, and Manny wrote me and asked if I would be his co-host.
Shut up.
I know.
You might get to be a radio host from
Finally.
like this might be your springboard into this.
Finally. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
time do you have to get there?
I think like 4 a.m. It's going to be brutal. I was like, I'm saying yes, and I'm already tired.
Oh
like,
my
thinking
gosh.
about it.
So how many days?
So they wanted me to do all 3 days she was gone, but I will be flying back from Disney. Like there was no different flight I could take.
Okay.
So I can't do the first day, but I will be there Thursday and Friday. So mark your calendars for the 3rd and the 4th. I will be.
How can we record that? Like, how do we get this recorded so that we have it for all time?
I know.
That feels important.
It does feel important.
A la Katie Couric.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore.
I think it's a little different.
I'm just saying. Like, I mean,
is,
I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. to listen to this, so I need to know that there's a way that I can hear all of it.
Yeah, but I don't know, but I think that they do release the full episodes like on their app or something like that. Like you can go and listen to it.
We're going to find this.
And y'all, there are a lot of songs and everything. I understand. I think that cumulatively, like when I finally get to the end of the day, it's going to be like, you spoke for 21 minutes, in a 5-hour shift, but that's just radio for you.
I can't wait to see like the public's feedback.
Yeah.
When they like hear Miranda, what do they feel and how are they liking you?
I'm just excited. I think that it's good. I'm going to make sure I can say, hey, I have a podcast with my bestie. Like it's good promotion.
It sure is.
I will make sure. I will weave it in to anything I'm saying.
You've got to weave it in.
Your bottom dollar.
And before you like finally go off air, say, if you want to hear more from me, come over to All That to Say.
You got it. Yeah, I'm excited from that standpoint. I hopefully get more people.
I cannot believe you're going to be on air. You literally manifested being on air. I am dying.
I really did. I've only started saying that in the last couple weeks. And if y'all know, and I think I have talked about it here, how many times I've auditioned for the female spot.
Yes, you have.
95.1 with Ace and TJ. I auditioned. I've auditioned with different male hosts.
Yep.
Even on different stations, but I've auditioned for the female spot on 95.1 3 different times. I have gone through the rounds of coming in, live, talking straight to mic, bantering back and forth, the whole thing. Like I've had my time and I feel like I've always gotten very far and then not been the chick selected. And so this feels like, even though it's only 2 days, it feels like the tiniest bit of redemption for me. Just the tiniest bit.
This isn't even tiny. This is absolutely redemption. You have been sought out and asked to do this. This is like, we know you're good on a mic.
Yeah.
So please come in.
I know. Manny was like, I just thought, who would I know that I would have fun with who's good on the mic? And so I thought of you.
That's so nice.
Usually they don't.
Shout out to him.
I know. That was really nice,
Seriously.
Manny. Really, really sweet. Usually they don't do this. They just do replays.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But they thought, let's bring in somebody fresh and new.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, I hope this doesn't start like a drama. What if people really like you?
No. I love Loren. Loren and I know each other well. Like
I know that you do.
I've known her for a million years. I made her gender reveal cake. I was at her birthday. Like Loren and I go way back, and she is fantastic on this show. I think that she would do it forever. She's great on it. I mean, all good things for Loren.
Well, maybe they need a third. Some shows have a third. Remember Cubby?
No, they did. Yes, I do. Of course I remember Cubby. Then he did the single ladies video, remember? And he went viral. Like before it was really, I mean, it was so hard to go viral then, and he did.
Cubby went viral on Facebook.
Yes, wearing like the black leotard and doing all the single ladies. God, like if you're a true charlatan, you know. If you know. And then what else? Well, there was Manny, Roy, and Loren.
Yes.
It was the MRL morning show.
Yes.
Then Roy moved to, I think, Ohio with his fiance, now I think husband. And so he's been gone for a while, and they never refilled that spot.
Okay.
However, I don't think that that's what they're trying to do. I genuinely think that Manny and Loren kill it as a pair.
As a duo.
Yeah, they really do. I don't think
you know what? Who's to say that maybe on Thursdays or whatever day of the week that they're like, we're going to bring Miranda in for like.
Yeah, maybe.
And what if they say, you have to go by Randa? Will you agree? Will you agree to that?
No.
Come on.
I'm saving Randa for you.
No, if they said we will put you on here on a regular spot if you go by Randa.
Fine. But listen to me, Kristen. There is not one person in the world who has ever said that to me. Randa has never been even in the realm of nicknames for Miranda ever until you and Aaron Hall decided it.
But what I'm saying is it sounds good for radio.
It already is the R, is what
It's
you're
the
saying.
R, that's what
the
I'm
MRL is Manny, Randa, and Loren.
It is.
Morning show.
Like Randa fits for a morning show. Y'all know that it does.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to have
it's
to write
for our morning show.
I'm going to send them an email.
But obviously, we would not be doing mornings. I think you and I are afternoon
You're
on the
afternoon.
drive home.
we are going to
Or midday. We could do a midday show all day, every day.
We would make people's drive home
Yeah.
very exciting, very fun.
Yes, I know. And we don't want to get up.
Do we get to choose the music?
No, the station chooses it. Yeah, no, I know that's going to be hard for you. And I know that Pam's going to have a lot of opinions too with all her playlists and what she wants to be played. But no, the station chooses it.
I mean, that's a bummer because why are we calling me like a DJ, like a radio host?
I know that is a common misconception, but
Well,
back in the day.
Wait, who says that? Oh, Mia on Potomac. She's like, he's not a DJ. He's a radio personality.
But that's because he's more like that. That is just all talk, kind of like Portia was doing on her Atlanta station, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Like that's more talk. That's culture. That's what they're doing.
It's more talk radio.
Yes, that's what I think Inc. was doing. Now, then there's this kind of hybrid where I think it is like the Manny and Loren show where you talk some and then the station chooses the music that has to be played. Obviously, it's like whatever's in the top 100.
Right.
And then you have places like the Lake, which we admittedly love.
Yes.
I think we would be good on like a midday Lake show because we love that music already, even though they're picking it.
Yes.
But then we could talk about it.
Yes.
We could relate to it and then still be our giggly, wonderful selves.
Let's pitch this to the Lake.
Okay.
Why
I don't know who their midday person is, but bye.
Why are we not pitching ourselves? Why are we not doing that?
Well, I think because that's already settled. Like it's done. We would have to come in and just be like, boot them out and take us in. And I don't think that really happens in radio and TV. They end up being disenfranchised by somebody. They don't like them anymore. They're not the right fit. They say something, they get canceled, and then they're on the hunt.
How do I start my own radio station?
Well, I think that's this. I actually think the podcast is the start of the radio station, and we have a playlist on Spotify that people can listen to.
Here's a question.
So don't you feel like we kind of did that?
Who owns the airwaves?
Ooh, I think like the guy who like a Rupert, is it Rupert
Murdoch?
Murdoch? I know Murdoch's last name. Rupert, I think, is the first name, but I think
He owns the airwaves?
I know that he was big in media as far as like newspaper and things, or the Hearst of it all. Like those, I still think those families control a lot of it.
I mean, because think about it, y'all. You do your dial.
Yeah. Let's see who owns the radio
And
stations.
then you land on a station. So why couldn't I come along?
Who owns the radio stations?
Why couldn't I come along and say, I now want to have 93.8 and it's Miranda and Kristen and we choose the bops. How much does that cost? What do I have to pay for the airwaves?
Okay. Heart Media, like iHeart, I believe is what this is going with, but I want to know the person. I want to know. So here's the big ones.
But think about how long radio has been around.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
breaking news. Extra.
Extra. I mean, with 855 stations, you have iHeart Media. You have the Beasley Media Group, that's who owns, I know, Kiss 95.1. You have Hubbard Radio, Cumulus Media. Okay, I want the people.
Okay, this says in the United States, while the radio spectrum is considered a public resource, the Federal Communications Commission regulates its use, granting licenses to individuals or companies for exclusive use of specific frequencies.
Yes.
Ensuring that the public interest is served. I'm ready to serve the public interest with our radio station.
Yes. I think we would have to then, we need to take over a frequency.
Okay, so we need
kind of like the people who do their Christmas lights at their home.
Yeah.
You know, you get a frequency and then that's why you can turn your radio station to that frequency and then watch the Christmas lights. So we just need our own Christmas light station, but then we just call it our radio station and then we just play our music and talk.
Wait.
But I think that's what the podcast is.
No, but like
You want it on the radio.
We could do this 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet that's what the people want. We did get good feedback. People said the longer episodes are great. We would never want shorter episodes.
Oh, okay.
Episodes were already sad that you went down to one and da-da-da. So we did get some nice comments about that.
That's very nice.
So nice.
And very soon you all can look forward to our radio station.
Yeah.
I guess I just have to write the government and just be like,
Right.
I'm ready to serve the public.
Mm-hmm.
And please give me a station.
This is, I just want the people's names because I feel like I was close with the Murdoch and the Hearst of it all. Whatever. I'm over it.
Oh, look at this chart of the frequencies.
Oh, that's beautiful. Put it on a t-shirt.
I'm going to save this.
I like that.
United States frequency allocations, the radio spectrum.
If you're wondering what I'm eating, Kristen and I did a Patreon mukbang of Wendy's.
You guys, go over to Patreon. If y'all know we talked about last week the Wendy's cheeseburger with the nuggets on top. Well, guess what? We just ate it, and we did it for the patrons, and they got to see us with this Frosty as well.
Slurping it up.
Let me do a little
Crunching
sip.
it up, slurping it up.
And we gave them tips on how to do all of this.
Yeah, we did. And that's what's important because we are an educational podcast. We will be an educational radio station, obviously.
I mean, and think about it, we could be ATTS, Radio Cat.
It's perfect. It's already happening.
We already have the apps.
We have so much of it done already. Some people are starting from scratch, not us. We already have listeners.
Yes.
And radio's for everybody.
A radio is for everybody.
It's in every car. So I love radio. I've always loved radio.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of radio. I still listen to radio.
You love TV and radio.
I do. I love media. No wonder. I mean, it was my major.
Yes.
I do love media.
I mean, all that we have dived into this conversation because you're going to be on the radio.
I wanted all the podcasts to know. I have not announced it. I waited for this here podcast to announce it. I haven't talked about it on my stories. I didn't even text you about it. I said, I'm just going to hit her live on air.
You can't. Something is swirling. Like something
has changed within me. I don't know why I think that I'm on air, but it was all of a sudden I started saying it, and then this thing came.
Yes.
And so now I'm not going to stop. Okay, I guess now I say on our future radio station, we'll be talking about this. This is my jump board and this is my springboard. This is my jump into, and this is my springboard in on the radio.
We got there. Well, I guess we just need to keep saying what we want. So we want you to win a free car.
We want Dear Media to buy our podcast.
Wait, let's tell people the little conversation that we had about all the popular highest ranked podcasts.
Yes.
So this is something we need y'all to really put your monocle on and think about.
Right.
Okay. Because we have put lots of monocles on to study this from all angles.
So many monocles.
And what we have realized is anyone who's in those top charts for podcasting,
The top dogs,
is somebody or some people who already were in media in some form or fashion. So they were on a TV show. Mm-hmm. They had gone viral on social media and they have a big presence there. They
hosted, like Joe Rogan hosted
Fear Factor.
Fear Factor.
Yeah.
The I've Had It girls had their own show on Bravo.
Yes.
The Toast girlies, Claude and Jax.
Claudia's a comedian.
Yes, comedian, has written books, so has Jackie. But I'm like, how did they get their big break? Like, were they famous before they started the podcast, or did the podcast, you know what? I listened to her origin story recently. I started another podcast listening to her talking about her origin story.
Yeah.
And they started something, and maybe it was on Facebook Live or something is how they started. And it was basically their show has not changed all that much. It was bringing you the pop culture moments from the day. Like
I would
the
say
breaking news, whatever that was.
The Toast girls, definitely out of anyone that comes to my mind, feel the most organically grown.
Yes. Like, I don't know if they had a big thing beforehand that got their foot in the door or whatever. But I need to go back and finish listening to that episode. I got like literally 7 minutes in, but I think that they might be the only ones.
Wait, one more just came to my mind.
Yeah, who?
Now I may be wrong. Not Skinny, Not Fat. Was she big before?
You're right. No, I don't think that there was anything that she did in TV or in media or anything.
So
maybe Danny.
I'm going to give claps to these people who did manage to do this on their own.
We are so impressed by the people who, like, they found a niche, and then they just did it, and then they grew really, really big.
And they did it for so long. I think some people forget how long the Toast has been doing it, how long
8
Danny
years.
has been doing it.
Same.
The hustle and the grind to just keep going to find your people when you don't already have that built-in audience is hard.
Because Dax Shepard, obviously a famous actor, married to Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
You have, like I said, Joe Rogan's huge, but he was already huge, and he's in the UFC, and he's hosting, and he's doing all of that sort of stuff. And
Smartless,
all of them are so hugely famous. And so we're up here like going, why is this so hard? And then we realize because we didn't have anything going into it besides our measly little followings and friends who just wanted to be here anyway and listen. And sometimes out of pity, I think.
Thanks for listening for pity, you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Just automatic download again. That's all we're asking for. Don't even have to listen. Just download it. Thank you so much. It'll pop up on your screen. You might decide to give in. But we're trying to keep that in mind.
Yes.
As we grow is we had nothing coming into this.
Right.
There was no built-in audience. Now we're looking at every reality TV star gets a podcast. Well, they were on The Bachelor, they were on Love Is Blind, they were on The Traitors, they were on whatever. They have that audience coming into it who already loves them and wants to hear more from them.
Yep.
And we don't.
We don't. We don't. And honestly, that comforts me a little bit.
Yeah, same.
It really does, because it's
Same.
you know what? If the both of us had, millions of people who already loved and adored us, as they should, we would be sitting pretty. But it's just, we just have to keep grinding and see where that takes us. In the very least, it got you on the radio.
Yeah, it did get me on the radio. I did know Manny and Loren before that.
I'm just saying.
But hopefully he said, I know you're good on a mic.
Yes.
Because of the podcast.
Yes.
And that's what got me on the radio.
Yes. Well, he should be listening. Maybe he is. Hey.
Maybe he is. Hey, Manny. Or maybe he's like, I have to have headphones on so much. I'm talking so much. Maybe he sits in silence the rest of the time. Don't blame him.
How long is the show in the morning?
I think it's 5 to 10.
5 to 10 sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it's a 5-hour slot. And it's funny because I knew Lily would be the most excited because we listened to it in the mornings on the way to school every single day.
Yeah.
We listened to the Manny and Loren show, and it's always right around the War of the Roses time, and she always has to get out, and then I have to fill her in. Was he a cheater, or did he send the roses to the girlfriend or the wife or whoever?
Ooh.
But yeah, I'm excited to do it. I hope everybody will take a chance and listen on their commute.
Yes, people are
their
absolutely
carpool route
going to listen, but we will figure out right now, today, we're going to look and we're going to dig and figure out, okay, how do we go back and listen to episodes? Because I want to make sure we have that in the annals of time forever and ever. Amen.
Yes. I think it's on their app, and I will.
Do they stream any video from that?
Yes, they do.
Oh,
I know. I'm going to have to put on makeup that early in the morning.
So that'll be on YouTube probably somewhere.
Yep.
Okay, great.
They have a whole team who does all that for them. So they get, and the clips broken down for social media. I think that
jealous.
I think they just have to show up and record.
I
know. It'll be neat to watch that happen. I know.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much.
You deserve
I knew that you would be.
You deserve that. You really, really do.
Thank you.
And I really hope this turns into something for you.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what it does. I know it won't interfere with this here podcast. I know that it will only help. It will link arms.
Well, I'm just saying.
This emoji.
It's this.
Yeah,
it's this.
It's this with that grippy. You really don't break eye contact.
Even if it did interfere with this podcast, I would say you need to chase what is happening for you and in making you money.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just know that from my perspective, I would be like, no, yes, you have to go do this now. This, you have to.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
And then I'll become big, and then we'll start the podcast again, and then we'll have all the built-in audience, and we'll be the next host.
That's it. That's it.
I think Heather was organic too.
Was she? She kind of was
because she was grinding. She was, but she wasn't even able to. I think she still started did she start the Absolutely Not podcast after we saw her that first time in Charlotte in 2019? Or was the podcast before that?
I think the podcast was before that.
So before she even did her first tour or did her first stand-up or anything.
Because I want to say she's been 7 years. I think that's the number that's coming to my mind. 7 years.
I think it was here's my Instagram. People are really starting to like it. Maybe I start a podcast so I can talk a little bit more. Then I'll start to go on tour, and now she's a huge household name.
Okay, so maybe, guess what?
There are a couple of them.
Maybe I was wrong.
No. I think that as we start talking about it, there are a couple of them, but I still think that they're the exception, not the rule.
I mean, I think those people should be given an award.
And I do think that they deserve more flowers.
They do deserve more flowers.
And the smart list guys who it's like, listen, I like their podcast too, you guys.
But it's Jason Bateman.
Jason and Will Arnett and Sean Hayes. These people have had mega success in movies. They have been on long-running TV shows. I mean, Will and Grace is like a cultural phenomenon TV show.
Yes.
I would say the same about Arrested Development.
Yes.
Like these guys have not just like, this isn't, that guy's from what? Like,
no.
I know his face, but like, that's not what we're talking about
Talking about some of the biggest stars.
And then you got the Kelsey brothers. It's like, yeah, you've already made hundreds of millions by playing a sport.
Yep.
Nope. You know what? You deserve an $80 million deal. You've done 32 episodes. Yep. Let's give it to him. That's it. Hey, listen, the market dictates it.
It does. It's what the people want.
It dictates it.
So get on that mic on the radio.
I will. And I'm going to say.
Make people want us.
I will. I will make them want us. I will try not to. My thing is like, just don't embarrass us. Don't embarrass myself. Don't say anything. I'm going to have to really watch my mouth.
No,
this is a good practice.
This is good practice for
not
watching.
Cussing and things like that. But I'm still going to have to be like buttoned up. This is morning radio. I'm going to have to really watch what I say. I'm like, Manny, are you sure? Me? Okay.
I love this so much.
That's what I'm a little bit like, okay. You can do this, but still be myself, but obviously.
Tell us the dates again. Podcasts listen. So
April 3rd and 4th.
April 3rd and 4th.
April 3rd and 4th. I'll be live on air for once, genuinely saying it.
Oh my gosh. Live on air.
I think there's like a 5-second delay for like the panic button.
There is a little bit of a delay.
There's a little, the FCC had to put that in place after the Janet Jackson of it all.
The FCC. That's what I was just reading about.
It all comes back.
And we saw that at the Oscars. Somebody said something. Who was it? Somebody let out a string of words, and the whole thing got muted. So we don't even.
Was it Charlie?
It might have been.
It's giving Charlie.
It might have been. Okay, well, we're so excited for you. Yay.
That's my big on-air news.
Oh my gosh.
I manifested it. I spoke it right into existence.
You did.
I was delighted. I was delighted to get the email. And then, or no, not the email, the DM. I was delighted to get the DM. So I call Joshua. I tell him, he's like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Congrats, babe, blah, 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 blah. And then not 2 minutes later, my sister calls me, Sister Jackie. I heard you're going to be on Kiss 95.1. I'm like,
that's how quickly the news spread. Josh, he's got loose lips.
Oh, he always does. I said, oh, Joshua told you. She was like, I don't think he had fully hung up the phone and put it in his pocket, and he was already in my office telling me this. So that's very sweet. He was so excited he had to just go tell someone.
Okay, that is so sweet.
It was very, very sweet. But I was like, well, I would like to tell somebody. So I called him. I said, babe, when he got home from work and like we had watched our shows and started a fire, I looked over at him and I go, my sister called me to congratulate me on the 95.1. He was like, oh, she did? I'm like, babe, sometimes I want to be able to tell people my big news.
Yes.
And he was like, sorry, I'm proud of you. I'm like, shut up. Don't don't passive aggressive me on this.
No.
I know he was just being silly, but I said, okay, well, just try to let me tell some people, okay? Let me tell some people. But he was he gets proud, and I love that because he knows how much I've always wanted to co-host on the radio.
Well, he
knows that. He's watched me through every freaking audition I've had and never get it. He's watched me audition for The Next Great Baker and make it to the final 20 when they took 12 and then lose that. He has watched me apply for Ashley Vikos's Bravo show as the assistant, get all the way to the offices, hold the Emmys to not book that. He has watched me audition for every TV spot as a main anchor. He's watched me not get that. He's watched me audition for radio and not get that. Like, if anybody thinks for some reason, and I can't imagine that you do, but just in case you think I have like the Midas touch, it only works in little teeny tiny ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are Princess Kate big, but that's still for me, that was like, yay, this is amazing and this is cool. And sure, I went a little viral for it and blah, blah, blah. But like, this is career.
Yes.
This is career. And I have had so many more no's than I have yeses.
That's such a good point.
And I do want people to know that.
That this is career. This is more.
Yeah.
And you have more people, I think, fighting in the career space for the big moment than you do for meeting Princess Kate or having something work out kind of in your favor. And it's this fun, magical thing. But when it comes to career, people are cutthroat.
Like I just said, you are literally waiting for people to be canceled, die, or something like really big to happen to them that they just can't do that position anymore because there's only a handful of these spots. Think of it. There's 5 kind of well-known stations in Charlotte. There's 3 blocks of spots, either morning, midday, or afternoon, evening. And even there, some don't do midday. You have 2 hosts per each. So we're talking a pool of 10 spots to fill. And there are thousands, tens of thousands of people like me trying to get in them.
It's wild.
It's very hard to do. Very hard to do.
And how much do these people get paid? Like, how much does a radio host get paid? Is it a living wage?
Yeah, well, I've talked to Ink and Mia about this. No, it's definitely a living wage.
Okay.
But it depends on how many, oh my God, the word just left my brain, not sync. It's how many. Syndication.
Yes.
Okay. It depends how many cities you're syndicated in.
Oh.
So, Kiss 95.1 is obviously here. They're located here and based here, but they have syndication in Ohio or Kentucky or Florida where people like them so much that they bought their morning slot.
They bought for their airwaves.
Yeah, for their airwaves. Yeah, so that frequency, whatever they are. So, yeah, they might be 95.1 here in Charlotte.
But they might be something else somewhere else.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And so they have to like them enough that they purchase that station, not the station, but they purchase the people essentially. And then, so you might be in Florida and thinking that Manny and Loren are 12 miles away in their station, but they're not.
Oh my gosh.
They're in Charlotte, and they are syndicated. So Manny and Loren have multiple syndications, and anytime they get a new one, it is a big deal because that jacks up your price.
Because the money.
Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
Okay, this is all very fascinating.
Yeah, I think that they make a good living, and then of course you can get deals, where Loren's also a very good influencer in her own right, and so she can get sponsorship deals and stuff like that. I don't know how it works with non-competes with the station versus, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, then you can get paid to host gigs like I do. Like when I MC, I get paid to MC.
Yes.
She can probably pull a higher rate because she's coming as Kiss 95.1's Loren.
Yeah, we saw her at the Southern Women's Show. She had emceed something. Oh, when they had the firefighters there.
Oh.
And Shep. Remember Shep came?
Yes, and he was so rude.
And he was rude to everybody.
So rude.
And then I think later in the day, the evening program at the Southern Women's Show was the Hot Firefighters Show.
That's right. And there was the mother-daughter lookalike contest, which I said, we got to enter this.
Yes.
I mean, from my mom to me to Bella for
all
sure.
3 of you.
Yeah, but we ended up not.
I feel like my mom and I could, if my mom and I had on the same outfit
with the same color hair
and did our hair the same,
yes,
we could maybe win one of those.
Yes, that's the big thing for me is obviously having the purple hair. I don't look exactly like my mom, but with her gray hair, I could dye it purple so easily.
You could. Mary, do it so that you can win this contest.
Please, Mom. Please.
It's in August, okay?
We'll plan it. We'll get there. We'll get there. So that's the big news. What have you been up to? Any big news you want to share with me? Besides your stupid prolonged cleanse, I don't want you to do any more of those.
I know. I put it back in the pantry because there's still 3 days of it left. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I break this up and it's like a 1-day cleanse here, a 1-day cleanse there. I don't know. Did we tell? Oh, I guess we told the patrons I was on a cleanse. Okay. Reverse. Let me tell y'all real quick. So I said it was funny. We were sitting here gorging on this Wendy's, which was delicious, by the way, because for the last day and a half, I was like, I'm going to do my cleanse. The Prolon cleanse, it's a whole kit. You do it. It's 5 days. It is difficult to do.
Yeah.
The longest I've gone with a cleanse is 3 days.
Yeah.
But I had this thing left over from when I used to do my functional doctor guy. So I saw the expiration and it expires in May or something. And I said, I got to do this.
Yeah.
I got to just bang it out. And I thought this was the week and I made it a day and a half.
Yep.
And then that was it.
Well, but you still made it a day and a half.
I did.
And that's impressive in its own right because these things are not delicious.
It's not delicious. And it's just what I was saying to Miranda and over on Patreon is like, you then have to be cooking still for your family in the evening. And that's when you're hungriest in the day. So I was grilling chicken on my Blackstone. I had salted some sliced cucumber. I made some rice. I am serving this up to the boys last night. And I just looked at it and was like, I'm eating this.
Yeah,
I
have to
am
have
not
it.
eating my thin soup.
No, that watery barley soup or whatever it is.
I'm not doing that.
You told me about this. I don't want you to do it.
Yeah. So I did it.
I hear the advertisements for this Prolon on podcasts. They talk about it, that it's advertised. I thought that this was like a Dr. Jorge specific thing, but no, it's like, it's a big thing.
It is. So there's, with Dr. Jorge, they kind of made their own where you make these soups on your own and you do the chia pudding and all the things. Like they kind of have their own version. And I did that twice, but they also said you can supplement if you don't want to go through all that. You can supplement with the Prolon.
Yeah.
Just order it. It'll come to your house. Do it, in your leisure.
Yeah.
I hate it. I'll never do it again.
Thank God.
I
don't want that for you.
It's the worst. And what I said to Miranda too is like, well, guess what? Yeah, I ate last night, but I ate grilled chicken from
vegetables
with a vegetable. Like
that's what you should be eating.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that that's bad for you. You won't ever convince me of it, that this thin soup is actually more nutritious for your body. It's going to set you up for better success than chicken and vegetables on the grill.
I think I would much rather do the water fast, the 7-day water fast I've told y'all about, than do the Prolon.
Me too.
You think?
I'll just drink water.
Have you seen the guy that did the 40 days of water?
No, but I think Joshua did. And Joshua decided that he was going to do a potentially 72-hour water fast. Mm-hmm. He ended up doing it for 24 hours. Then he started to push it into the 48 range. This was while I was in Disney, by the way. I was like, are you kidding me? You're deciding to fast while I'm gone so I don't have to worry about cooking for you?
Oh, yeah.
Do it when I'm home.
Well, he probably
Save me some of
He probably likes that because then he wasn't around food.
Exactly.
Smelling your good cooking.
I know. It probably worked out a little bit better.
How did he feel after the water fast?
No significant changes at all. Kind of like your Prolon. I think you have to do it for longer.
You do.
But his was more a mental thing. He loves to do a mental challenge.
Yes,
so
he
that's why
does.
he does these weird running things and everything. He likes to do it for the mental aspect and to see how tough he is. He even decided a couple years ago that he was relying on his winter coat too much and he wanted to, it was making him weaker to cold, and that he decided he wasn't going to wear warm things in the cold just to get back to a Viking level of hard when it came to cold. I mean, this is to test his mental strength.
Okay. Who is doing these things for fun?
Joshua. He's crazy.
Joshua Miller.
He's crazy.
Zeke. When he gets hard like that, he's Zeke. Mm-hmm. Don't you think? When he's on his water fast, he is Zeke.
I guess he's Zeke. Sure. Whatever. I'll entertain it for that small bit of time.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I'll do a water fast. It keeps
do it with Joshua.
Listen, because I like to reel, things keep popping up where, it's this Eastern medicine man who's like, you have to do the 7 days. It will kill anything in your body that shouldn't be there.
Now, see, I've seen some doctors talk about this because what's happening is this is going around and being like, this is the cure for cancer. Mm-hmm. If you have cancer cells in your body and you just drink water for 7 days, you will not have cancer anymore. And doctors are like, that is categorically false.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Please don't believe that. It won't stop it from coming. It's not going to get rid of it. Do not do that.
Yeah.
And I do need people to hear us say that.
Oh, yeah,
Just in case you were someone.
Don't take medical advice from us.
No.
Or financial advice.
No.
We are educational.
We are educational, but only about certain things. And we're serious when we're talking about educational because we say we're an educational podcast.
Otherwise, everything is alleged and silly.
Not to be taken maybe we just need a running ticker. That's we are not doctors. We are not medical professionals. Do not listen. We have no authority here. None. And maybe that's why we don't have our own frequency yet. But when we do, we're going to have to buckle down.
Yeah, because that's not serving the public.
Buckle up?
Buckle up? What? Buckle down and buckle up. That's
okay.
The same.
I still feel like I'm confusing buckle and hunker, but whatever.
Oh, you did that before.
To let that go. I'm just going to let it go. I can't get into the weeds about it in my head right now. There's too much swirling.
There's too much swirling.
Okay, so let's, do you think we're ready to get into the 2 and 2?
We are.
We'll do it in 2 and 2.
Okay. Okay. Announcement. Here's one of my things.
Okay.
Lady Gaga has a new album out.
Oh, it's. Oh my God. It feels so good to have Gaga back.
She is back. And y'all, this album it's giving old Gaga to me.
Mm-hmm.
It is very high frequency.
Yes, like our radio station.
Like our radio station. Very high frequency. Thank you, Gaga. Yes, Gaga.
Gaga.
No, Gabby.
No.
Yes, Gaga.
Yes. No, Gabby. Yo, Gabba. Yes, Gaga. Unless you're keeping up. I am obsessed with her album. She is killing it.
It is so good. Okay, it's so good. Listen to the whole thing. You know what else I really like about it?
Tell me.
It's pretty clean.
Yeah.
Overall,
For Gaga.
you can sit in the car and rock to the most of this album with your kiddos if you so choose. And there's not going to be an E on there.
No.
And I like that
I do
because
too.
we don't have to throw in.
Her music videos, on the other hand.
Yeah.
Right.
The music videos, no.
She's always going to push those music videos.
She's always going to push. I mean, there's so many songs we love.
Yeah.
Born This Way, all of them. But it's the music video, no. My kids don't need to be watching that.
Yeah.
But the big announcement from this album for me,
Yes.
to all of you, is that we have a new Halloween song,
Oh, yes.
Zombie Boy.
Yes, we have it. I mean, I was going to say even for Abracadabra because
yes.
it's magic.
It
and so
is.
you can think about it. But I do love when we have a new song for a holiday that we know we will play not just this year, but every year to come.
And y'all know we've said this about Christmas, right? We have talked about if you are an artist, if
Just
you are
make
making
one.
music, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just make a Christmas hit? Right?
One hit. One
One.
hit is all you need. If it's really good, look at Mariah Carey.
That's it.
One.
Look at
She just
NSYNC.
needed the one. Think about even a Katy Perry with Fireworks for July 4th.
Yeah.
She didn't write that as a July 4th song.
You're so right.
But is it played every single Independence Day? It sure is because it
Yes.
says fireworks.
I just
You just need a holiday song. Any holiday will do.
and we have been lacking in the Halloween department.
I
Okay?
agree.
It's taken us a lot of time to compile songs, and I've been the one compiling them.
You are.
I am the person
for your playlist.
in the United States of America who is doing this, and who
and such as.
who actually is thinking about this. I think I'm thinking about this more than anyone in the United States.
I agree.
Because
I
as
agree.
soon as a Zombie Boy came on, my brain went straight to Halloween, and I also thought Rodent Boy, Sloth Boy, Zombie Boy.
Yep.
So that also adds to our boys.
All of our boys.
And I said, additionally, someone's going to remix this, and it's going to be so
fire.
good, and I will hear it on Nectar Radio. So
Yeah.
wait for that announcement because it will be coming. I know that Zombie Boy will be remixed, and it's going to be so hot fire for this coming Halloween. But I'm telling you, if you're keeping up with your Halloween playlist, as I am, go
Yes.
ahead and just add Zombie Boy to that. And Abracadabra.
Yeah, and Abracadabra. I think that she is writing it for the ghouls.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
the ghouls
Well, for
and
her little monsters.
For her little monsters.
Because the people who follow her are called Little Monsters.
Yes.
Monsters are Halloweeny. I think that it's just in her wheelhouse.
It's
And
for the ghouls and the gays.
for the ghouls and the gays. I love that. Little Monsters, ghouls and gays.
Yes. Okay.
Little Monsters, ghouls and gays.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's how you use a colon. I am so
I'm glad
thrilled.
you're loving it too.
I'm loving it. Well, Lily's loving it.
Of course.
So then she is, Lily's very into music like you're into music, working on the playlist and watching the videos and
Yes.
just taking care of that. I'm not doing any of it.
And she's also digging into the lore as I am.
Of course she is.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Of
love
course.
the music lore too, and getting the backstory and so and so heard this about this artist, and that's why they work
She's
together.
so intentional. Gaga is so intentional.
Oh.
She's like a T Swift. They are intentional.
Yes.
They are dropping the Easter eggs. They want you to pick up on the things. They want you to put it all together.
Yep.
I can't do that because my attention span won't let me. So I do rely on the you and the Lilies of the world to do that. Also, my friend Alana is Gaga's biggest fan.
Really?
So I'm always going to be up to date on my Gaga news.
Oh, she's definitely going to go to
because
the
of Alana.
tour wherever the shows are. She's going to be there.
So listen to this. So Alana went to one of Gaga's tours. Obviously, we know it's Lady Gaga,
But I like
It's
Gaga.
fun to say Gaga.
It's like we say cocaine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So she was able to buy Lady Gaga had tables on stage. So kind of like you were at like a cabaret, but you could buy the tables on stage as your tickets. Now they were an ungodly amount of money, but for you, if you are her biggest fan and you decide like this is what I'm spending it on, they did. And so she was one of 8 people sitting on stage. So you watched Gaga from the stage sitting at your little table.
I have the chills. That is unbelievable.
And then Alana, I think, had this very specific like crystallized purse made with the telephone on it and everything. It was epic. It was like one of the best nights of her life. And
that's the thing. It's kind of a once in a lifetime thing. If this truly is like your artist of your lifetime that you have loved since you were maybe a preteen or whatever, maybe you do drop the coins and you just say, I'm doing this because I can. I have the ability to do it. Don't go in debt, you guys. Don't go in debt for that.
Alana can.
Alana can do it.
Yeah, she can.
And so
and she did.
Just do it. And now she has that forever.
She has it forever. And she really is like, she's her biggest fan. So I'm thrilled for her. I said to Alana, like, we need to have another video watch party in her shed, in her backyard. We call it a shed. It's like as nice as my house. Yeah, it's actually nicer than my entire house.
It's just another house.
It's just another house, but it has like a big drop down projection screen and everything. So that's where we go in and watch our music videos and sing along on our Chapel Row night and everything. I said we need to have a Gaga night. By the way, she did invite you to Reuben Fest this weekend, and so I'm here to tell you that.
What is Reuben Fest? Do we eat Reubens?
Yeah. So Reuben Fest is their big once a year. They do a huge concert in their backyard. And then they have a bunch of Irish food. So it's to celebrate St. Patrick's Day coming up, and they call it Reuben Fest.
Matt and I love Reubens. I don't think I've talked about that here.
You love a Reuben?
Are you? Like if Matt,
of course you like a Reuben.
If Matt and I go to a restaurant and there is a Reuben, let's say there's a Reuben and a turkey Reuben.
Yeah.
I get one, he gets the other. Yep. We cut it in half and we swap.
So one's going to have corned beef, obviously, and one's going to have the turkey.
But it's got the sauerkraut. It's got the Thousand Island.
I love everything about a Reuben except for
the rye bread.
You got it.
I've really gotten into rye though.
I don't.
That used to be me.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Do you like a pumpernickel?
I can deal with a pumpernickel. I really dislike the taste of a caraway seed, and that's what makes rye. And sometimes, you guys, Einstein bagels, I'm talking to you. You put caraway seeds on your everything bagel, and again, that's where my trust issues started. So we have it in the oatmeal cookie.
Yes.
What's it called when you have the raisins in it? I don't know. No. Oatmeal raisins. They should be oatmeal chocolate chips. And the fact that sometimes I thought that they were, and then I bit it, and then there was a raisin. Trust issues. This the everything bagel with a caraway seed on it, when it doesn't belong there, trust issues. Then there was something else that we mentioned recently. It was another food item
that you had.
It was the pickles.
It was the pickles.
Was it the pickles?
And if you bite it and it's sweet.
Yeah, it's like trust issues. Don't do that to me. Like,
it's
let
the
me
food.
Just know.
It's the food.
Yeah. So anyway, I do like a Reuben in every sense of the word, just not the rye bread.
Okay, but you could put that on.
I'll put it on sourdough all day, every day.
Speaking of sourdough, I got we have a bread machine. And I mean, so many of us have bread machines, but they just sit in the pantry. Well, I got in my mind the other day that I own a bread machine. And I was like, I own that. What should I do? So I ordered, there are sourdough bread machine mixes.
Yes.
They did not used to exist because, sourdough is very
temperamental.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of babying.
Yes, but
you can't just plop it in.
Whoever is manufacturing this now, figured it out. And so I have 3 boxes. I might make it today. Now that I'm off my cleanse.
Was Cam Wimberly one of the people promoting this on Instagram in an ad?
Oh, I don't know. I literally just went to Amazon and just looked it up. Is there a sourdough box mix that I can put in my machine?
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious
about it. We'll see how it turns out. I mean, some of the reviews were like, make sure that, the water temperature is this and, that you're putting exactly this.
Right.
And so I'm a little worried about that.
Well, still sounds less temperamental than making regular sourdough. The way some of these people have to babysit these starters and then the adding and the stirring and the temperature and the this and then you proofing and then you're scoring and then you're baking. Yeah. And you would think that that's something I would have gotten into.
I would think.
You really do think that. And then I said...
Because Morgan Amanda's doing it. I'm still waiting on a loaf from her.
Yeah.
Morgan. Where's the loaf?
Where is the loaf? The loaf. I'm so glad you knew where I was going with that.
Where is the loaf? The loaf. The loaf.
I love that song.
It's a great song.
I love that song. Put it on one of our playlists. Obviously not... Alana just texted me.
Okay, so are you going to go
1 minute ago.
Are you going to go to
I'm
Reuben
going to Reuben
Fest?
Fest. Let me tell you, because this will come out after the fact. It's this Saturday.
Okay.
She said she just texted. She was like, "Tell Kristen about it if she and Matt want to come, so that she can meet you."
Yes, we haven't met yet.
I know. So it's this Saturday. Let me tell you, starts at 1. So if you and Matt can come, it's at her gorgeous house in the backyard.
Does this go into the evening?
You know it. It goes on forever.
Okay, because we have sports. Shocker. And then my father-in-law turned 80 yesterday.
Phil turned 80?
80.
My God. He looks
80.
great.
And he's very
looks great.
mentally with it. Like Phil is still there.
Phil is still there.
And he's been a little funny about turning 80.
Why?
We were like, what are we doing? Let's make a plan. And he was like, I just don't know if I want to celebrate it. Like, I just can't. Like that I can't believe I'm 80. Like he's really kind of struggling with it.
I know, because he's significantly older than Julie.
Yes, he is. He's older than Julie.
And so he's just feeling it right now. He's a little bit of an older dad, I would say, to Matt and Derek.
He is. He's an older dad.
So he's feeling all of that. But you know what? Are we still having complicated feelings when we're getting into our 70s and 80s and 90s about birthdays? Couldn't be me.
I guess he is.
I'm on borrowed time, so I'm just like, give me another year.
So we said, okay, Saturday night or early. We were like, Saturday at 4:30.
Yeah.
Let's go have a steak dinner. He loves steak. He loves prime rib.
Same. I love steak.
Let's go do this.
Yeah.
And he just was kind of resistant to it. And I said to Julie, I'm like, here's the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you can say this to him or not, but like so many people wish they could make it to 80.
Yeah.
And not only that, make it to 80, but make it to 80 in the condition that he is in. He comes to my kids' soccer games. He's walking around.
Everywhere.
He
looks great. I mean, he was still running his business until 2 years ago?
Yes. This man does not sit down.
No.
Like he is so busy all the time. And I just said, I believe that deserves to be celebrated. You made it. You did it.
You did it, Phil. Revel in it, enjoy it.
Yes.
Your family still wants to be with you and celebrating it. Like, what more could you ask for?
And I got really cute 80 candles, and I want to make sure that we can use them.
Of course you did.
And so I am going to make
about the candles. It's about you buying the candles. Just tell them the truth, and they will be like, "Oh, it's okay. Oh, okay. Kristen wants to use her cute candles. Yeah. We'll go. Make the reservations at 4:45. Beef and bottle. Fine. Done." Get the candle. Matt, don't forget the cute candles. The 80.
If I forget.
You know the ones.
If I forget those
Your
candles.
housekeeper is going to come down here and be like, who is shouting at me?
Wait, that sounds bad. I don't have a housekeeper.
Whoever's mopping your floors upstairs.
Okay, our cleaning lady is here today.
Cleaning lady. What's the difference?
Well, I feel like housekeeper sounds like it is someone that's there 24/7.
Oh, I would call that a house manager.
I don't know.
Housekeeper.
I don't know. That sounds like
cleaning. But does cleaning lady sound a little?
No, I think we don't
help.
I think we don't use maid anymore.
Well, yeah,
we don't use maid.
Okay,
we like to say cleaning lady.
Cleaning lady,
because I think that's respectful to her as a woman. And it literally just addresses what is happening, which is cleaning.
Yes,
cleaning lady.
And she is a lady identifying as one.
She does identify as a lady
who cleans.
And she's so wonderful and so sweet to our critters up in the little farm area.
She's got her hands full.
Oh, she comes in there. She talks to them. They know her voice, because she has a little bit of an accent.
How long have you had her? Same one for a long time?
Well, it's interesting because, and I will give a shout out here. Anybody that's in the Charlotte area. So R&S Cleaning. Okay, that's the company. R&S Cleaning. Mm-hmm. Rose is who runs that. Okay. I have been working with Rose, like she has been helping me here in this home since we moved in 14 years ago.
Wow.
So R&S is who we have stuck with this whole time. Wow. Now, she employs lots of different women.
Sure.
But typically we would get someone, let's say for about 1 year to 2 years, and then maybe they either find a new job or they move on to doing different things. But we have had our woman now for, oh my gosh, this will be the 3rd year.
Okay, so that's a long time to have a consistent person who knows your critters, who has seen the comings and goings.
I think about it. I'm like, she saw Cotton in her nursing area and then the end of her life. And then I remember when she came after and I We had to use
tell
the
her.
translator app for me to say, like, she passed away. She was 16 years old, you know, and then she went in and, like, did such a loving, sweet, like, beautiful job cleaning that area because she hadn't been able to clean it.
Yes,
in
I remember that.
months and months.
Yeah.
And then seeing us get lucky, and it's like, here's the new cat. So it's kind of neat to, you know, have someone.
Feels like a part of your family.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, no, I get that. I feel that way about my mail lady.
We're talking
Like,
to.
we're very close.
Well, she's seen you naked.
She's was topless, easy. She's let's not go too far, okay? She has seen me topless. We do exchange puzzles. We are friends. She knew I was on passport watch. She was there to help, ready. She knows not to back over my rocks. You know, on our driveway because I fluff them up.
Yes, the cute
I
rocks.
weed and all the rock path and everything. Yeah. So like we're tight.
You're tight.
I don't pay her.
Well,
I do tip her.
You shouted to the cleaning lady when you walked in because you thought you were talking to Matt.
I just heard some rustling in the kitchen, so I was like, Matt, blah, 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 Matt, and no response back, which is not like Matt.
Yeah, no.
He's thrilled to see me usually.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. He would, of course, respond to you.
Of course. And then I realized I'm talking to your cleaning lady.
Talking into the void.
Cleaning lady.
Yeah, the cleaning lady.
I started to second guess myself. Housekeeper. Got it.
Yeah.
Cleaning lady.
If you want to say housekeeper, I want you to say that. I just need people to know I don't have
you don't have a live-in housekeeper.
because listen, there are these girls on the gram
right.
who portray their lives.
Yeah. Protrude and portray.
Protrude and portray a certain lifestyle, which is fine. Of like, I take my kids here and I do this and everything's great and everything's clean and everything's awesome. Great. But like,
there's somebody behind the scenes just constantly
there
making it go.
there are nannies behind the scenes. There are cleaning people behind the scenes. So I think some people can take that in and like feel badly about themselves. And I just need y'all to know that's not happening here. Also, if I could hire someone full time, it would be a cook, a chef.
Absolutely.
It'd be
or
a
a
chef.
driver. I want a cook / driver.
Yeah.
You know what? If I could pay you 40 hours a week to do it all, we're going to split that job up. I hope that you're good at driving and at cooking.
You needed a Michael like Miss Patricia.
Sure did.
You needed.
He did finally pass.
Rest in peace,
Rest
Michael.
in peace, Michael. We loved you.
You want to talk about a good legacy left behind?
Amen.
That's Michael.
That's it.
Think
Right
about
there.
that.
I know.
So many people think fondly
Not
about
one
that
bad
man.
thing.
Not one bad thing.
Not
Because
one
he
thing
was
came out.
good and pure.
That's right. And let us all be like Mike. Like Mike. I like to be like Mike. Oh, be like Mike. Y'all know the one. The Gatorade commercial. And Kristen has now seen it. Okay, speaking of things you want to see.
Woo, let's see.
Y'all, I have really taken on the title of documentary watcher. I almost said documentarian.
Yeah.
Documentarian.
Documentarian. Yeah.
But I'm not making documentaries.
You're watching.
But I am watching.
Yes.
Okay. So I almost don't even know which one to talk about because there are several, but I think I need to. I feel and I fear.
And I fear.
That people are wanting to know if I've watched With Love, Meghan.
That was on my list.
Have you watched it?
I haven't. I've seen enough clips to get the gist.
Okay.
And I am it literally, look, the Meghan Markle show, question mark.
So many.
Mark. Look how many question marks. And
6 or 7.
And I had the question marks to say, have you watched this?
I did.
I'm going to give you my very, very quick,
Yeah.
since I haven't watched it all.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you what I believe I can know from what I've seen,
Okay.
which is this. This is a woman who has made a show to portray herself as relatable, demure, meek, and mild. But when you are living a life as lavish as hers, and you have a TV show recording all of it, that is the opposite of meek and demure. And so to me, it is giving so phony and fake, not because we even know all the backstory with her, but just more, it's so tone deaf to be like, tee-hee-hee, and like, oh, I made a mistake, and like laughing, cutting my flowers in my garden, and it's supposed to feel natural, but since we know that it's not, and also it's not like even filmed in her real house, is what I heard.
It's not.
That it's like what you're trying to project with being just like, it's like soft girl.
Yeah.
I'm soft, I'm meek, I'm mild. Actually, what's happening is the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about it.
Okay. I think that you feel like a lot of people do.
Okay.
That her inauthenticity
Yes.
is so apparent that it's difficult. It's very difficult to watch because you're just like, is any of this real?
And it's not.
Is any of this real? And so you have to combat that with also the fact that what is the point of the show?
Yeah.
So here's where I land. Here's where I land on it. I watched all 8 episodes. I really gave it my best shot. And y'all know how I feel about Meghan. You can go way back to the beginling, Hilary Duff.
Yes.
To episodes 5, maybe.
I mean, it's that early.
It's that early that all hell broke loose. Well, no, I mean that the book came out.
Yeah,
that Harry's book came out.
Harry's book came out, and
I was able to listen to it barely. Again, 15 hours of my life I will never get back.
Yeah,
I listened to it just so I could report here because I'm a giver on what I thought of it.
Yes.
Okay. Before I even touch with Love Meghan, I do want to say this. When people are saying, why do people love to hate this girl? Why are people so mad? And why are they so mean to her? It's just a show. It's just a show. It's just a show. I found it kind of cute. There were some things that I took from it that I thought were good tips, blah, 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 blah. So if you are just coming into the Meghan Markle of it all with the show, I can see how you think that.
Yeah.
But if you are coming into Meghan Markle as someone who thinks that she did the royal family so dirty, especially to Elizabeth and Philip in their final months and years, and on their deathbed, you decided to drag them and call them racist, then I feel in fear that I'm coming to it with a little bit of that still in my heart.
Yeah.
Okay. Still in my heart about her.
And that's, again, y'all know I like to say it, like, that's a fact. It's not even your opinion that happened. It is a fact that those things happened.
It is a fact that she decided that she didn't want to be in the royal family anymore, still loves Sussex.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be in the royal family anymore. She wants out. They said, fine, out. Out you go. We can't hold you here. We're not chaining you into the dungeons of Kensington Palace.
Oh, I would love to see those dungeons, though.
I know, right? It's giving traitors.
Woo!
Okay, so they let her go. Here, have your privacy.
She wants so much privacy. I can't.
Have your privacy and go and be with your family and do all the things. And live in Canada or America, wherever you end up deciding, and just have your life how you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't be half in and half out of the royal family. It's not how it works. So we are releasing you of it all. But then, wait a minute. Then, I didn't realize that we were going to lose titles and protection and security and all these things, and maybe now not even be in line for the succession and if we do this.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was like, well, you FAFO'd, right?
Yeah.
You effed around and you found out, and these are the consequences of your own actions. And so here we are. All right. So if you're coming into With Love Meghan with some of that, knowing the backstory and knowing all of that history, and then even when that wasn't good enough, that then you needed to go on Oprah and drag the family. Again, we're talking in the last literal months and year of the monarch's life, and using and then using words like racist, then you are going to have some people who are just naturally going to be like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
I don't like what you stand for. I don't like how you did this. And I do have a big problem with it. So I am one of those people. You heard it on our podcast. I've already been very outspoken about it.
Yeah.
I think that how they did it was wrong.
Yes.
All right.
And I feel that way, but also just because you do, I do too.
Okay, great. And I love that we hate the same people, and we've always committed to that. Okay. Always.
That's what best friends do, is they hate the same
people. So I've had some of those problems, and I'm not negating some of what she went through was bad. That did happen too, but both can be true.
Yeah.
Things can be bad and happen to people, and you can still choose how you want to react to that and how you want to exit that, and then what you do after that, and who you specifically decide to destroy along the way. Those are going to have repercussions.
Yeah.
And that's going to, make people feel how they feel. I still decided that y'all know me. I'm not just going to take what the internet tells me. I'm not going to watch these 1-second clips.
That's
I see what that does in the broader, media world. I'm going to watch the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
I'm
you
going to
did.
watch all 8. I'm not just going to watch the first one.
I should have known that you would.
Of course. I watched it all. Did I talk about it? Did I mention it? No. On my stories, nothing.
Nope.
Because I save it for this podcast.
You do.
Here are the thoughts. I don't understand the point. The point of this show, I don't get it. Because here's the thing. It's not aspirational. There's nothing that Meghan is doing that is so unique,
groundbreaking,
or groundbreaking. It's giving very 2015 Pinterest, very, very much so.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing new. She's not doing anything. You're making a fruit board that looks like a rainbow.
Yeah.
We all did that in 2015. Like I probably have pictures of me doing that.
Yeah.
There's, putting
I saw some flowers in an ice cube.
She's really, really obsessed with flowers. And now I know it's because the whole point was to launch the brand where she was going to be making these flower sprinkles, so sprinkles out of flowers, and selling them on their website. But the website is not ready to go because the flowers are not ready to go. So even though Netflix had the delay of 2 months to put the show out, they still never got the products ready.
Oh boy.
And so I was very curious, like, why is she putting these flower sprinkles on everything in every show? And now I realize it was to sell the flowers, but they're just not ready yet.
Okay. Huh.
Okay, that's a mistake. You have a team of this size. You have a $100 million contract from Netflix. Netflix has decided to not just air you, but partner with you business-wise, and no one could get the dried flowers ready.
This is shocking to me.
So that's just as a business person,
yeah,
you got to have those things ready to go so that when it's popular, and maybe there were some people who thought these dried flower sprinkles were so cool that they wanted to immediately go on a website and buy them. They're nowhere to be found.
I mean, all this for the dried flower sprinkles. What?
For dried flower sprinkles. Yes, she was putting flowers in ice cubes and then saying, don't these really spruce up a glass? Again, none of this to me. And maybe it's just because I am someone who can pretty things up.
Yeah.
But none of that's aspirational. I'm not aspiring to be more like Meghan when I watch her do things because they've already been done.
Yeah.
And it is hard to have an original thought. I'm not saying that either.
It is.
But if you are an expert at something, like a Martha Stewart,
right,
who has earned her flowers, she is such an expert at something. When she says, I'm going to teach you how to roast this chicken, you damn well know that Martha knows what she's talking about.
That's right.
And it's going to be a good roast chicken.
That's right.
And so you can trust her as the authority, as the expert on something. So you might say, a roast chicken, that's not groundbreaking either. But at least you know if you follow her instructions to a T, it will be perfect.
Yes.
So Meghan's not coming off as the expert in her own words. She's like, I didn't even know that this was a thing. I didn't even know that that's what that meant. So she's not coming off as an expert. So you can't really even trust that perspective of it, but she's not doing anything new or aspirational.
Right.
So because you get to the end of these 8 episodes going, I literally learned nothing.
Right.
Then that's why I think it feels self-serving.
Right.
Because she's
to just kind of show, like, here's my pretty life. Here are my fun friends that I'm friends with famous people, and they're coming into my kitchen to look at my ice cube flowers and my sprinkles.
But
like,
you don't even learn anything about the famous people through it. So you're thinking, oh, okay, so Mindy's going to be on it.
Right.
I'm going to certainly learn like something no one knows, like
about Mindy Kaling,
or about their relationship or their friendship or whatever. And you get to the end of the episode and you go, I didn't learn anything about Mindy.
I mean, the clip I saw of Mindy, literally the one clip I saw, was Mindy asking her, tell me what you're wearing.
Tell me what you're wearing.
And then Meghan says, I like to go high-low.
High-low.
So the pants are Zara. And then she laughs really hard that she's wearing Zara pants.
Mindy's like, Zara. And she's like, I know. I'm just kidding. Sorry for your ears. And then
it was.
And then she said a woman's name. I do not know.
It was
this
like a
name.
designer top. I don't know the name either, but when she said it, and then Mindy was like,
Oh, yeah.
So clearly this is like a $2,000 top probably with her white Zara pants, and it's supposed to be so hysterical that she's wearing her $38 Zara pants with the $2,000 top.
High-low, and it is a whole moment. Like it is a moment on the show. Obviously the clip that's also going around from the Mindy episode.
Tell me.
and we do need to talk about this.
Tell me. I don't know if I've seen this.
So Meghan is talking about how she was a latchkey kid and she ate a lot of fast food growing up.
Okay.
And so super relatable.
Yeah.
Like we knew that her parents had split. We knew that she was very close to her mom, who's a single mom. Like totally makes sense. You're a latchkey kid and eating a lot of fast food.
Yeah.
So she's talking about like some of her favorites, some of her favorite places to go. And at some point, Meghan said something like Jack in the Box.
Okay.
And Mindy Kaling responds saying, I just don't think that people would assume or know that Meghan Markle has had Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
And this is when Meghan, it really is the cringiest thing ever. When she starts to giggle, not a hearty laugh like the Zara, a very different laugh.
It's a demure giggle.
It's just so funny how you keep calling me Meghan Markle. You know my last name's Sussex now. And Mindy kind of goes, oh, like is taken aback. You could tell that Mindy feels kind of mortified that she has misnamed Meghan Markle. But here's the thing.
Wait, I have not seen this clip.
Kristen.
Oh, I want to like crawl in a hole and die.
Kristen, it is so uncomfortable to watch. And again, I watched this before I saw anybody talking about it, before anybody was clipping it down and showing the things. I watched it like, are you effing kidding me right now that you are correcting Mindy Kaling on this?
I know.
2, acting like people haven't been calling you Meghan Markle for years, even since your wedding.
Right, of course.
And 3, Sussex, and this is a point of disagreement, even amongst like the most royal kind of Anglophile people, right?
Yeah, let's ask Ivor. What would he say?
Well, Ivor is Mountbatten. Ivor's last name is Mountbatten. And also, Harry and Meghan's last name on paper is Mountbatten Windsor.
Oh.
Now, they have adopted
Sussex
because they're the House of Sussex, just like Will and Kate are Wales. And, everybody has their different kind of last name, surname, but it's more of a place. It's not your last name on your birth certificate. And I would bet my life that Lilibet's and Archie's last name on their birth certificate is Mountbatten Windsor, like their father's. And so this idea that like you want to go by Sussex as your last name is fine. You get to decide that. But you don't get to make someone feel dumb for addressing you by Meghan Markle when that is what you have been. You've never said, I'm Meghan Sussex. You might have said Meghan Duchess of Sussex, that you wanted to retain your royal name without your royal duties. You have very much made that clear. But that doesn't mean that people would say Meghan Sussex. They wouldn't do that.
That would never be on my radar whatsoever. And I would also add into that like Kate Middleton, we still kind of call her just Kate Middleton.
Correct.
And I don't think I've seen a clip of Kate ever correcting somebody about that.
She would never.
She would never.
She would never. And
can I also add into this? You know that Meghan was part of post-production on this, and they chose to...
She's the producer.
They chose to leave that in.
She is the...
So not only did it happen, you watched it back and said, yeah, that's great for the edit. Leave that in.
She is the executive producer, and you know what the title says in the clip? Here come the credits.
What does it say?
Executive producer, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex.
Wow. There are no words.
Like, girl, you have tried to distance yourself so much from the royal family of it all.
It's so bad.
But you demand people to call you the Duchess of Sussex, and then you are going to correct a good friend. They're not. I threw it up in quotes. Please no. YouTube watchers saw it.
Yeah, no.
Your good friend on that. You chose that was the good time to do it. Then you chose to keep it in as an executive producer.
Right.
And now people are coming and saying things. And so you have your army coming out going, but Sussex is their last name. They've decided to go by Sussex. Okay, but why was Mindy supposed to know that? And why are you trying to, this girl's given up her time. She's come in here. She's agreed to film the show with you.
She's trying to
look relatable.
Yeah, she's trying to prop you up.
She's propping you up, babe. Okay. And you are going to correct her in this way and kind of laugh in a very passive aggressive way. I didn't like it at all.
Oh, I got to see this clip.
And I don't like it also because it's not true. You can say you go by that, but it is not officially or legally your last name. It is a title.
Yeah.
A title that I'm shocked you even still get to have.
Yeah.
Because you did leave and you left. You left the royal family and you left your official royal title. But the queen was so kind that she still granted you to be able to use it in a professional way.
Yeah.
Now you don't get to hold that against somebody for not knowing.
No.
Because it's a title, not a last name. Just let that go. Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows you married the eligible bachelor and Prince Harry. Everyone, including me, watched your wedding. Again, I was on the news for it. I had such high hopes. I was rooting for you.
Yes.
I am Tyra Banks. I was rooting for you, Meghan. I really was. So I was a big fan, loved it, wanted all the success in the world. So I do have some problems with those sorts of things on the show. Also, things like the very first episode was with her makeup artist of a long time, like 14, 15 years, said that this is the longest friendship in her life.
Okay.
And it's her makeup artist who I think they started working together on Suits. And so they've remained close all this time. So keep in mind, very good friends, 15-year friendship, besties. He's who she gives her first episode to. And at one point, he's prepping something and she's like, oh my gosh, you're a left-hander?
How would you not know that?
How would you not know that?
14 years of friendship and he's doing your makeup.
That's what I'm saying. How would you not know?
You would see him using that left hand for 14 years on your face, in your eyeballs.
Writing. I mean, I can tell you all of my friends who are left-handers right now.
That is so like that alone.
Isn't that odd? Why is no one clocking? I have not seen people clock this.
That example is so, I am mortified for her.
And he just kind of looked like, yeah, I'm lefty. Like, he was cutting something, I think. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're a left-hander. And then, people will talk about the plastic of it all. Like she moved Trader Joe's plastic or peanut butter pretzels from one plastic bag to another plastic bag, but then just tied it off with a note that said what they were for his bed stand, for in case he wanted a snack. She's like, and just in case he's allergic to peanut butter, I'm putting peanut butter pretzels on here. And it's like, well, don't you know him? 15 years?
This is so strange. All the things that you're telling me, I'm so glad I didn't watch, but I'm shocked that all of this is not on the cutting room floor.
But that's where I'm at. Right. So that's confusing, but you wonder why people call you inauthentic, and it's because of things like this that don't add up. It doesn't add up to me how you wouldn't know that about somebody. And I am, y'all, I am flighty as hell. There's a lot of stuff I'm not clocking and picking up on. But I would know if you were allergic to peanut. We have been friends for 15 years.
Yes.
I know what hand you write with.
Yes.
And I know what you're allergic to. And even foods you just don't even like the taste of.
Yes.
So that's confusing. And for someone like Meghan, who has a very small circle, I feel like especially, I would think you would know your friends even more.
I don't think she's close to much of anybody.
I think that's it. And I also think that that's why it feels inauthentic.
Yes.
It just doesn't feel real. And Mindy Kaling and you are supposed to be prepping for a kid's party. There's no kids. There's no party. You're just showing what you would do if there were to be a kid's party. But you have children, and I understand you're protecting the privacy and you don't want to show them, but I don't know. Do you get some kids who can act or something?
Yeah.
It's just, there was so much of it that wasn't helpful at all. There was nothing I learned from that. There's not one thing that I learned in 8 episodes. I didn't learn anything additional about Meghan. I didn't learn anything additional about her guests. We saw H, as she calls him.
H. I need the H to stop.
Yeah. So she showed H. Finally, in the final episode, we got to see H.
Okay.
That's when she said, this is a business. I can't believe I have a business. So I'm showcasing some of my business products and things that are going to launch in the business. But the website's not ready. None of the products are on there. And also, first episode, she talks about how she, wants to raise bees. And that's how she has this honey. And I think she's going to sell the honey and the beeswax and the candle making of it all. But she's terrified of bees. And so the beekeeper actually did all the work with the bees. So you don't really have bees. And the garden that you have, you bought with the house. It came with the house. you like to clip the food, but teach us how you garden.
Yeah.
When do you know what to plant and what time and how much sun and how much water and how do you keep certain insects out of it and everything? You keep talking about how you love gardening and you learned it way back in grade school and it really sat with you and that teacher recently died and it was so hard for you, but you didn't actually teach us anything about gardening. So if gardening is your thing, teach us something about gardening. I learned nothing about gardening. Not one thing. I didn't learn anything about how to flower arrange. Maybe it's because I already know the trick where you put the tape and the cross pattern over.
We've all been doing the tape for 10 years.
So I'm like, that's not groundbreaking. Like, what are you teaching me? What have I learned? Have I gotten anything out of watching this show except for some kind of cringeworthy moments?
Yeah.
And here's let me give some positives. She is stunning. She has always been stunning.
Yeah.
She is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
I could look at her face and thank God she's so pretty because I really did just look at her face in every clip just like, my God, you are so beautiful.
Yeah, she's beautiful from the front and the side.
She's her nose is perfect.
That's what I'm saying. Like from the front.
Chin, everything.
Yeah. She's beautiful at all angles, which is hard to do.
She's beautiful at all angles. Her hair is beautiful.
Yeah.
Her outfits are beautiful, even if they're high-low. Even if they are, she is absolutely stunning to look at. I have no qualms about that. The fake kitchen she's in is a friend's house or something. It's some sort of prop house. It's not their house.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of people saying like, this isn't her kitchen. These are not her bees.
Which she
this
did
isn't
admit
her garden.
to it.
Like,
she did admit to like, this isn't my house. I didn't want to show my house. Okay. But I think that it would have gone so far. We could have at least said, I haven't learned anything new because this is Pinterest 2015. However, it was neat to see her kitchen.
Because just show the kitchen.
It was neat.
You don't have to show the layout of the house. Just show the kitchen.
It was neat to see, that house is so humongous in Montecito. You're telling me that there's not one room that you felt like you could write your notes in from there. Oh, and her handwriting's stunning. Okay, so Meghan's beautiful. Her handwriting is so gorgeous. It literally looks like she hired a calligrapher.
Wait, I want to Google that, see if anything.
The handwriting is stunning.
I do, because I really love beautiful handwriting.
Girl.
That's something you should know about.
If this is her real, and they do show her writing, and she's like, I always love to do these swoops. Like, the handwriting is gorge. She's beautiful. The handwriting is beautiful. Her outfits were beautiful.
It looks like there's definitely some clips that will show the writing, but you know what pops up first is just, all right, she has now announced her new podcast.
Oh, she already had a podcast. That didn't work.
People Magazine 1 hour ago. Meghan Markle announces new podcast, and the title promises she'll spill bold confessions.
She said that she was going to do this last time. Y'all remember she had a podcast and nothing was revealed in it. She said she was going to meet with world leaders and have the most amazing guests on there who were going to literally change the world. And she had Andy Cohen, who we love.
Yeah.
But like, that's not a world leader.
It says fresh off the debut of her Netflix series and the launch of her lifestyle brand, she is stepping back into podcasting with Confessions of a Female Founder, produced by Limonada Media. Debuting April 8th with an 8-episode season, her new podcast will explore her journey as an entrepreneur while diving into candid conversations with fellow female founders.
You're an entrepreneur who doesn't have your product ready to go after a Netflix show launch.
I can't believe that this news has come out within the last hour of us recording, and literally us talking about people who have top tier podcasts because they already have a following of people. And now she's
huge.
Like, how much this is extremely niche in the worst possible way.
Yeah, this feels meta. This feels meta right now.
The worst niche that's ever happened to us.
I can't.
Okay? It's 12:46 p.m.
It sucks.
It sucks, and it's Sussex.
It's Sussex. It's success.
Now, a lot of these articles...
Which sounds like success.
It does.
And I don't think this will be.
It will not
But it will get tons of downloads, and that's all that matters.
I mean, look, people, New York Times, Meghan Sussex, even Meghan Markle's last name is inspiring debates. So a lot of people... Okay. Oh, yeah. There's a lot. I mean, wow.
Here's what did I say? My notes were, I think that Harry and Meghan, H and Meghan... I think that they keep trying to reinvent themselves and it's just not working.
It's not working.
They cannot figure out who they are.
Yeah.
So they can't figure out who they want to portray themselves to be.
Yeah.
And that's why the audience is having this push-pull with them where we just can't get there. And I'm trying. I'm trying, y'all.
I think that
if it were good, I would admit that it were good.
I know you would.
Because I love these kinds of shows.
Yeah.
I am that target demo. I am the one who watches Barefoot Contessa and Martha Stewart.
Giada, all these girls.
And
Rachel
Bobby.
Ray.
I am watching those people and I am learning from them. I know a lot of stuff specifically about the kitchen from watching a copious amount of cooking shows, but I also love the lifestyle of a Barefoot Contessa.
Yes.
And I like to see what a Martha does from the tablescape to the bees to the those have already been done. So if you aren't going to be as expert and knowledgeable as they are, then I don't know what you're bringing. Now, what she could have done is been like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing in experts. Now, she kind of got there with this guy who is a really great like Korean chef. And she's like, the LA food scene is what I was raised on and what he was raised on. We're both local LA people and, native LA, Los Angeles. And so I'm going to have him come in and teach me how to make like the best fried chicken, like Korean style. And so where she was learning from him was actually, I think, one of the best episodes where she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Teach me your ways. And so that was neat. It was like, okay.
Then that's what she should have done for this whole thing.
Then do it throughout. Do it throughout. So it's either you're trying to be the expert, but you're 10 years behind. Or you're trying to learn from somebody. But even in that, like learning, there were times that I was just like, you didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
Which then makes you seem even more fake on the episodes where you're trying to teach me something. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. I think that their problem with trying to continue to rebrand is that they're in a push-pull of, we want to seem relatable and that we gave up these titles and we came to America and we're just like everyday husband and wife with kiddos, right? They want that, but at the same time, I think they enjoy, if they were being honest, being sort of untouchable.
Exactly.
And being so kind of high up in society or however you want to phrase that. And so it's like, you actually are going to have to choose.
Yes.
Are you untouchable? Which some people are. Some people are untouchable and let them be.
And we watch shows about that often, and that's okay too.
That's okay. Or are you truly going to get relatable and, like you said, show the kitchen or admit that you don't know how to do some of these things and you need an expert or whatever that is. But she's
find your lane.
She's trying to find her lane, and it's almost giving
what she's doing with the royal family. You're one foot in because you want all the titles and you want what comes with it.
Yeah.
But then you want totally out too. And that's the problem. These people have been trying to ride the fence for so long.
You got to choose.
That the audience doesn't know which side we're supposed to go with.
They need to choose or either just kind of like disappear. And I don't mean like disappear forever, but just really take time, raise your kids, lay low. Maybe at some point down the road, you can reemerge.
When you figured it out.
Yeah, when you have figured it out. But right now she's just trying to be like an East Coast grandmother and it's just not working.
She's just like throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. And I don't know if she even knows what that is.
It's too chaotic. Like the fact that this podcast was just announced, like, I don't know.
I can't stop. And I know she had the TIG. So everybody keeps saying, no, but Meghan's always been like this. She had the TIG. I can't remember what it stands for.
What is the TIG?
The TIG is her old blog. So she was an old school blogger.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that she didn't love to host parties and put cute things together and all of that sort of stuff. I do think that she naturally falls into that category. But I'm saying it still feels like it's 10 years ago. There's nothing new that she's showing. And then the other thing that I think happened here is that she tried to garner sympathy from people a couple years ago, and it worked for some of them, but now it's feeling like, were you only doing that to further your brand?
Yeah, for sure.
Was it real? So everybody's going to keep coming back to this idea of, was it real? What is real? Are you real?
Yeah.
Who are you? And I don't think until she knows what that answer is, are we ever going to be able to figure out what that answer is.
I think the only way they can dig themselves out of this, like for real, is to disappear for a little bit.
Yep.
Come back. Yep. Do an interview with someone.
Us,
obviously. Live on air. And say in that interview, after some self-reflection, maybe humble yourself a little.
Yep.
And admit to some of the things, some missteps that you knew you took.
Correct.
And say, looking back on it.
Yep.
My timing wasn't great.
Nope.
And I wish I could go back. And even though I was feeling some of these things, there was a better way to go about it.
That's
I see now, with some growth and with some time, I see now that could have been better. And I really hate that there's a fracture with us and William and Kate. Like,
I would give anything for this.
Right? That's the only way out of it. It's the only way.
Saying that, it's like, I would give anything. And you know what? I'd go, okay, let's start new.
That's what I'm saying.
From here.
We are not grudge people.
No.
And honestly,
I'm
nobody has an attention span. So y'all could come back, say the right things, and then everybody could move on.
I really think that that's what could have happened here, even within this show.
Yeah.
Just like, I've been sitting with the bees for a while. As they buzzed around, I said, Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex. I think I went about this wrong. And H and I want to reappear. And you know why? Because we are going to be better.
You did not just say be better. I will say be better to her.
I will too.
Be better.
That is my recap of With Love, Meghan. I do think that inherently she is someone who loves the beautiful things. And I think that she loved throwing dinner parties for her cast, back in the day. And I think that she loves kind of the homemaking thing. I do. I believe all of that about her.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for there to be something that we could learn.
Yeah.
That could be aspirational or just come off as, hey, I'm just going to let someone teach me.
Be authentic about it. It's fine.
And I think that could have been a real winner for her. But this didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel right, but I did give it all 8 episodes. I kept finding myself at least coming back to it. I was like, you know what? I made it halfway through. Let's watch the next one, the next one, the next one. Maybe one of these is going to be. Now, there were neat guests. I mean, are these dear friends of hers? No. Come on, y'all. Give me a break. Like, you can't convince me. There were maybe 2 girls on there that I was like, okay, they, might be friends. But everybody else was like, you don't know these people. And so with some of those people, I liked hearing their stories at least, but there was nothing connecting them really to Meg. I mean, she had her Mahjong people. And like the Mahjong people feel real. Do I think that she's learning how to play Mahjong? I do. I do believe that about her. And I do think that she likes to make snacks for the Mahjong people. But I don't know. There's just something about the Mahjong of it all. And I just want to say Mahjong one more time.
She likes to make snacks for the Mahjong people.
I think she does.
Yeah.
I think that she revels in that. I do. And I like that for the Mahjong people. And the setting's beautiful. Oh my God. Some guy was like kind of pretending to be Meghan on Reels.
Yeah.
Like, and now I'm being fed them constantly. And some guy was like, because she sits at the end of the episode with her makeup artist, best friend for 15 years, doesn't know he's left-handed, and sits down and she's like, and look, this is the view. And it is stunning. But the guy on Reels was like, and this was the Palisades and it's all burned. And like, it would be like Meghan to just be like, well, that was the Palisades. But anyway, do you like your quiche?
Yes, that is so, oh God. How do we how do we save her from this? Like,
you can't. She has too many yes people around her. No one is telling her the truth.
Who's advising her?
The problem is she and she and H are just sitting up at night every night being like, these people don't get us. We know each other. We know the truth. And da-da-da. And they're just 2 Delulu besties looking back at each other saying, we are right. We are right. We are right. And they're all wrong. And they don't get it. And blah, 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 blah. And they have such chips on their shoulders that they cannot see the forest through the trees. They really can't. They are just, this is their story. They are sticking to it. There will not be any humility. There will be no like, hey, yeah, I think that we had some missteps along the way. Y'all, that's human nature in every situation, especially as big as that.
Yes.
You are going to have missteps along the way.
And
William and Kate did.
Family relationships, there's going to be missteps.
Of course. But I mean, William and Kate had missteps. The Queen had missteps. Everybody had some missteps along the way.
Yep.
But we haven't heard them say, we had them too.
Yeah.
We had them too. We could have done better. And it would have gone a long, long way to hear her say something, anything original, anything new, anything humble, anything. No, there's never going, and I just don't know. I don't know that there will be. And so if you have someone who loves Meghan, even the Meghan lovers, I did see some people who were like, I fought for her. I agreed about the institution. I'm so glad she got out of there. She was mystery, blah, blah, blah. They were like, this show sucks. Like this. Yes, I've seen some true Meghan stans be like, this show wasn't it. This is not it, Meghan. So all that to say, I am righteous in my position.
You are. You are. You have been vindicated, validated. This proves that you know what you're talking about and always have. Put that crown on your head right there.
Thank you.
Get that big crown.
This is really what kings and queens look like sometimes when they put on like the biggest of the crowns.
Look how big it is. But I mean, it can that sit on your head?
Let me take off my...
Yeah, take the headphones off. Let's
They're
see.
killing my ears.
Because I'm wondering. Oh,
no! There's a cover photo.
Y'all, you have to come over to YouTube.
I have the tiniest head.
Okay, wait.
See.
Let's see. I don't know. It might sit on.
No, I think it's gonna slide over your head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Watch the nose.
Yes. Be careful with the nose.
Oh my gosh. Just barely though. It just barely is sliding over.
With the headset on though, I think it could sit there. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so
what's your number 2?
I have a great segue for this.
Okay, great. Let me see with that. I think.
Yeah, see if that'll balance.
Okay.
Okay, you are not going to be able to speak with that.
No, I'm taking it off. I won't be able to.
I thought you were going to try to leave it on.
No, I was just seeing if it could balance for the cover photo if you'd rather it that way. Go ahead.
Someone else who's kind of back.
Oh, who's back?
That people are not liking. Someone has come back online and she has launched her TikTok. Who is it?
Oh my gosh, Casey Anthony.
Casey Anthony!
This girl, I'm sorry for anything that I said in that episode where I was like, listen, I could see how it could have been her father and they were in a mass cover up. I won't take that back because I do think George was the last person to see her, her alive.
Yes.
And I am still curious about how they were the 2 adults alone at the house with her when she's gone.
There's something weird with the dad.
And the fact that he was never investigated, that they never pulled his cell phone records to see where he was at that time. Like, I think that Casey and her father know something.
Yes.
And so all I'm saying is that it casts enough doubt in my mind that maybe Casey didn't work alone.
Yeah.
And so I was hoping that I wasn't coming off to like, I'm not a Casey Anthony apologist by any means.
No.
But I do see how at least does dad know more? Was dad involved?
Yes.
And that's why there's so much hatred for them and why she then had to have this story, if it is true, I don't know, about him, abusing her whole life and everything. I could see how she said, this might get me out of this if I do this. And then I'm going to, throw him under the, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, she decided she should come to TikTok.
She made an announcement TikTok where she's in her car and she kind of holds the phone out and she's like, I'm here. And I think what she said is she wants to begin giving legal advice. Was that what it was?
Yes. In the documentary, she talked about how her legal team who represented her ended up hiring her to be not a paralegal because she didn't go to school for it, but she does a ton of the clerical paperwork, all that busy work that a law office has to do. Yes. She decided to pour herself into it to try to help others wrongly accused fight, their, case in jail, and how could she help them do that? And so with her years now under her belt of being at this law office, she thought that she could give some legal advice.
She thought
on TikTok
she could come back or come on to TikTok. And the way that this has blown up in her face,
not great.
The response, whatever day this happened, this was, a week or 2 ago, people went crazy over this. People were on their own TikToks cussing her out, tagging her in it,
stitching with
it, power posting, saying, you think you can, we will never forget that you killed your child. I have never actually seen in my life this kind of just repulsion and response from the American public. I'm like, this is literally the thing uniting us.
This is the thing uniting us.
We disagree
no matter
on
what.
We disagree on everything else. There's
Yep.
two things we like. The baby eagles that have been born
Obviously.
and hating Casey Anthony.
Correct.
That's it.
That's it. And thank God she came along when she did, I guess, because we did need something to unite the left, the right,
Yes.
the gays, the straights, the
Yes.
women, the men, the everybody. We needed something. And here it is, our united hatred of a child killer.
It's wild.
Because people
to
are so
see.
pissed. People remember where they were when 9/11 happened.
Yep.
They remember where they were when OJ was acquitted.
Yep.
And they remember where they were when they heard Casey Anthony was also acquitted.
Yep.
And so
I was late to an appointment to get something checked out on my butt. I had a butt appointment. I swear to God.
a butt appointment.
A butt appointment. And I sat in my living room and like literally it was my appointment time and I couldn't leave.
I think we were texting.
Yeah. And I just sat and
Yeah.
watched the verdict come through. I couldn't believe it. And then I drove over to Randolph Road. I was 30 minutes late.
Just
and I think I might have
shocked.
even said to the receptionist, like, I'm sorry I'm
late.
so late, but the Casey Anthony verdict was coming down and I had to watch.
Same. It was terrible. And I couldn't believe it. I think all of us were in shock. It felt so reminiscent of OJ because it was so clear he did it. And so for something to get them acquitted because it was an error done on behalf of the police or the investigation or the reporting or something, it just felt like this isn't how it should happen.
Yeah. It's not justice. And that's
can't-
what we all want.
We all want justice.
You tell us not to believe what we see with our own eyes. Like we are smart people. We can
Yep.
put all these clues and everything together. And short of, as I've said before, short of having literal video of her killing her daughter,
Yep.
we had everything else we needed. And you still found her not guilty.
Yeah. Just it came down to tiny details.
Ugh.
It sucks.
It sucks, but I just need her to understand.
TikTok. So did she leave already?
I don't know if she left, but I saw someone in the comments say,
Let me see.
they said, I'm proud to say that one time I ran into her ran into her in a bar in South Florida and I threw a drink in her face. Like this person threw a drink in Casey Anthony's face.
Oh
Wow.
That is
wow.
so funny.
Like, I don't think I would do that.
That is so funny. Wait, so is she still on here?
Maybe she went away.
even Bethany went on and was like, no,
Yeah, I saw that.
you're not allowed here.
You're not allowed here.
And if Bethany says you're not allowed on TikTok, you're not allowed on TikTok. Like, I'm sorry, you're not. See, because I see a Casey Anthony _ Substack, and I feel like this is her. Yeah, this is her.
This is
only
her
account.
Okay, I want y'all to hear.
73,000 follows.
Okay.
73.
We're sweat to death. Okay. Today is Saturday, March 1st, 2025. This is my first of probably many recordings on a series that I'm starting. I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter. For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This is not in response to anything that they have said or done. That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done. The whole point of this is for me to begin to reintroduce myself. I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity.
Okay, so y'all, this goes on for many minutes. I mean, that was just the first little bit. That has 6.2 million views. The comments are closed on that. She closed the comments.
Okay.
So
I'm reading comments right now on.
what are you reading?
So was it this one? Was that the first one?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Are you able to see comments
Yes.
on that?
Yes, I'm able to see 222 comments.
Oh.
Stuff like professional what? Being tried for murder doesn't give you law experience. Her response to that was news to me. Like, what? Girl, it's also the replies. It's the replies from her for me that I'm just like, you just.
Oh, yeah, I can see now.
Like
So,
someone
yeah, I
says-
don't know which one is real.
Someone says the audacity. Casey replies, is the audacity in the room with us?
What?
If you're going to come on here and reply like that, this is a big problem, Casey.
Oh,
this is a big problem. If Kaylee Anthony were alive today, she would be 20 years old in August. Imagine if you loved her more than you loved partying and being a Sure. You have balls of steel. You have balls of steel to even start up an account. Casey wrote, because you know what happened. You were there. You know how much I loved her. You know everything. Good to know. Thumbs up. This is not how you go about it.
Look,
girl.
here's Bethany.
Making side eyes about Casey Anthony being on here, like, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's like a storming the castle, which is effectively what you guys are doing, and I love that moment. But, like, do you remember exactly where you were when that verdict came through? Did you have, like, beautiful mind scrawl on your wall, obsessing, like, fixated, talking to anyone who would listen, knee deep, confused, like, your brain wasn't equipped or large enough to figure out what the hell happened? Like, that one hit different.
Yes,
it did.
So it's like, I wouldn't risk jail time because of my daughter, but, like, I'm not going to say that if I saw her in an alley, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know.
Who's going to know?
So it's like, yeah, that's, you guys will tell me we ride at dawn for chicken salad. That's we ride at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
Machete in hand.
She's right.
I mean, yeah, she was like.
This person said Casey Anthony shouldn't be on TikTok. Kaylee Anthony should be on TikTok.
That's true.
Oh,
She'd be 20.
she'd be 20 years old right now making videos with her
What a
friends.
beautiful little kid. She was so beautiful.
Nancy Grace came for blood last night supporting the TikTok. Nancy Grace. I just love Nancy Grace.
Oh, Nancy came for her.
Oh, I love it. I love
Nancy
it.
woke up
And chose violence.
She chose violence. Nancy was like this. Casey Anthony, not today, but she's still on there. And that's the thing. It's like you have these kind of moral conflicts too with, well, shouldn't TikTok remove her?
Yeah.
But is that TikTok's, I mean, she's a free woman.
Yeah.
She's walking free. The judicial system judicialed. It was on the jury.
It was on the jury.
I mean, those people chose with what evidence they had been presented by both sides, and
We can't be mad about that.
We can't be mad.
Do we know any of the jurors?
I'm sure that some came out and said something along the way, but I don't know them.
Because I know people were
Yeah.
wanting to know who they were, back then.
And
But
you
maybe-
can hide. You can. You don't have to reveal your identity ever. You can always choose to do so afterwards. I mean, I will still never get over the fact that during the Murdaugh trial, and I was there in the courtroom, obviously, when it happened, but it's like we had all heard about the juror who had, covered her face with the blanket. She was
Yeah.
falling asleep. She was so disinterested in the case. You could tell she didn't want to be there. And so at the end, they kind of made this she ended up being an alternate. So I think that also led to her being so disinterested because she knew, for the most part, she assumed she was not going to get a vote in this. She just had to sit there and listen, but she wasn't ever going to get a vote.
Okay.
And so there's this famous moment at the end, and they pan the camera over, and they do stop short of the jury, but what they don't stop short of is that the judge had very recently, just a couple minutes before this, said, alternate, you can go and stand with the bailiff over there. You can go stand over there since you're not part of the jury anymore. You can go stand over there. So when the camera pans and stops just short of the jury box, you see the bailiff and this woman standing right there. And that's how I was at least able to identify, hey, everyone, the blanket girl was an alternate, and this is what she looks like, if you want to know. Now, I did not make that a moment, though. I didn't make a TikTok about it or anything and freeze the frame and do any of that stuff because, her identity is still under protection from being revealed.
Yeah.
But what she can say is, I didn't vote.
That's true.
I have not. But
She didn't
I mean,
have a vote in it.
he went anyway, which everybody wanted him to go to jail, obviously. So I think she would have voted guilty no matter what. But my point being, she wasn't either way. She was kind of absolved of it because she didn't even get a vote in it. But they still should not have shown her.
No, they got to be careful with those camera pans.
Yeah, well, they weren't.
Gosh.
They were not. That was crazy.
Right?
That was just a crazy time.
That was a crazy time.
That was a crazy time.
Can you
in the
imagine
life.
if you had gotten to go to Casey Anthony's?
Whoa.
I mean, I'm trying to remember when that did happen, like what was the energy in the courtroom. I would have to go back and watch, like when they said not guilty, was there a gasp? Was there, like, what did the judge do? I don't know. I kind of want to go back and like relive that and just see, because I've seen the OJ clip over and over and over.
Over and over and over.
Don't you
I
think?
wonder why we haven't seen that so
We
much
have
with
not.
Casey.
I don't know why, but we have not.
Interesting.
That is
but we all know
interesting.
it.
We all know it.
We know it, and we know it well. Okay, let me see how I can segue this. Another thing that's atrocious. Not even remotely close to the same level. So I'm obviously being sarcastic here, but we do want to let y'all know if you are signing up for our Patreon,
Yes.
that if you pay for Apple Pay, if you pay with it through Apple Pay,
Yes.
they are going to charge you 30%, a 30% fee to do so.
Yeah.
So this was made aware to me because when you sign up for our Patreon, we get a notification. A new member has signed up, and I always send those members a welcome message. Hey, welcome to Podcast Patreon. So glad you're here. Thank you so much for supporting us, something along those lines. And so I see what tier they sign up for. So we have a $6 tier. We have a $12 tier. The $6 tier, you're still getting funny stories. The $12 tier, you're getting the most embarrassing, most unhinged stories.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So you can choose which one to sign up for. That's on you. But I saw this $9 a month come through. It was like someone signed up for $9 a month. Actually, 2 people signed up for $9 a month.
I saw it too, and I was like, huh.
I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I finally remembered to ask Kristen, like, why do we have a $9 tier? Is there a third tier that we've added? Or is Patreon running a special? I was like, are they allowing people to sign up for $12 for $9 on them to like get more users? I thought maybe they found like a coupon code. I don't know. Or I was more worried about the fact that our people who are signing up for $6 a month being taken advantage of.
Right.
And somehow they're being mischarged for $9. And I don't want that to reflect poorly on us. So Kristen and I are talking back and forth, doing some digging, talking. We're voice noting back and forth as per usual.
Yes.
And
I start digging, and I remember something in my brain wiggled a little bit, and it was like, wait, you got an email in October about something with payments going up with Apple. So go back to that and find that email. So I did. And sure enough, it was like, it's this whole explanation. And you could tell Patreon's not happy about it.
yeah.
Because it used to just be you could sign up through the App Store, pay with Apple, no big deal. Well, now Apple has said to Patreon, no. If people pay using their Apple ID or their Apple Pay, it's going to have a 30% markup. And so Patreon has had to send us all emails and say, FYI, just know this, and also
because Apple's not making enough money.
That's what I said to you.
Why do you need to charge 30%? 30%?
I'm like, Patreon's not a huge business. All of us on Patreon are not huge businesses.
Right.
And the people paying for it are not billionaires. So it's just like,
we're just all normal, regular people who are trying to put out content or take in content.
Right.
30%, that's even higher than think of it, credit cards who are maxing out at 29%.
Yeah.
This is higher than that.
Yeah.
To me, it feels egregious.
It's egregious.
For what we're talking about being online transactions.
Yeah.
How many, is this really, there's someone behind the scenes who's now having to work harder when people are signing up there? It just can't, I can't imagine that.
No.
Now, again, I don't know how it works. Don't take, any kind of financial advice from me, but that sounds ridiculous.
Yes.
That there's 30% more of work happening that you now need to pass on to the user.
No.
So we're here to let y'all know we have no control of that. We can't do anything about that. So if you are wanting to sign up for Patreon and not be charged 30%, you can pay any other way but Apple Pay.
Yeah.
So I realized one of these users was my sister.
Yeah, it was Jackie, and you were like, if my sister found a coupon code somewhere.
I'm like, of course Jackie somehow found a way to get the $12 tier for $9 a month and screw me one more time. No.
I loved that so much. You're like, freaking Jackie with her coupon.
Freaking Jackie. So I'm like, what? How? Give
thumbs up.
Yeah. Because I went like this. Okay. Anyway, so I called her and said, Keeks, I just want to let you, I have some questions for you. I saw that you signed up for Patreon. She's like, yeah, I had to listen to the Tiny Tampoon story since it was about me.
Yes.
I'm like, I figured that's what got you there. Ha 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 ha. Part of our master plan. Whoa. And so I said, yeah, that was on the $6 tier. So you were able to listen to it. But I noticed that you got charged $9 a month. And so 2 things. Were you told you were getting charged $9 a month when you tried to sign up for the 6? And she goes, well, I was trying to sign up for the 12. And I said, So then you did find a coupon code? Like what?
Yeah.
She's like, I wanted to sign up for the higher tier so I could get all the best stories, but it wouldn't let me. It made me sign up for the $6 tier. And I said, okay, that might be user error, but we'll come back to that.
Okay.
So you signed up for the $6 one, but you ended up getting charged $9. Did you know that? She goes, no, I didn't know that. And I said, can you go to your receipt for me, please, and let me know? Because I think you paid with Apple Pay. And right now they're saying that they're doing a 30% charge for Patreon subscriptions. Da, da, da. She goes, you know what? Now that you say it, I do think that when I clicked on 6 and then I went to check out, I remember it being $9.35. And I was like, so it was $9.
So it was $9.
So it was
Okay.
She's like,
okay, Jackie.
she's like, yeah, it was. I'm like, okay. All right. So my question to you is, did Apple tell you that? Though?
Right.
Or did they just do it? And she goes, I do not remember Apple like popping up something that said, if you pay this way, it's going to be a 30% charge. But I did see that I signed up for 6 and I was charged $9.35 and I just pressed accept.
Oh.
And I was like, okay,
they need
so
to give a little disclaimer.
I do too. I think that would be the right thing to do, is to give just a little pop-up or something, like, so that you could change your method of payment if you knew it was going to be that much higher. And to some people are like, it's $3. I think that's crazy.
I mean, it's such a high markup to go from 6 to 9, and it's you're right.
That's a third.
Like it's $3, but for us to be on here saying it's only $6 a month, and then for y'all to go on, and for some of you it might be $9. Like that's not cool.
That feels crappy to us.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to. This is our WOW award. That Apple's decided to do this to Patreon subscribers. So if you want to sign up for Patreon, and we hope that you do, the Tiny Tampoon story is on there, and that should just be enough to get you to run.
Yes.
But that is going to be $6 or $12 unless you do it through Apple. It's going to be more. I don't want that for y'all.
Yeah, just use your regular card.
You can do. I think you can do PayPal for it.
Yeah. Just don't use Apple Pay or whatever.
Don't use Apple Pay. It's just lining their pockets.
It is. It's a bamboozlement.
It is. It's bamboozlement, Jane. And Jackie did say, well, I do want to sign up for the 12 though. And so I helped kind of walk her through it. She's like, oh, I see it now. I don't think I swiped. So there are 2. It might be a little bit funky in there,
but
the
app.
Yeah, just keep going until you see the $12 tier. And what we joked about is I was like, well, look, I mean, you're already paying $9. Now 12 is only $3 more. Girl math.
It's true. It is girl math.
You're saving essentially, because you're getting double the amount of content for a third more.
You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose money on this deal.
You can't save money if you don't spend money, and that's what Chris has been trying to tell y'all forever.
And the cost per use. I mean,
and the cost per use.
I mean, think about cost per laughs. Cost per laughs. CPL.
That's what we're going for on this here podcast.
CPLs. And I think it is a bargain to go over and get the $12 tier, because you're going to get the most laughs with the $12
It's
tier.
true. And we do all spend, and I know that we're just trying to be salespeople here, you guys, but like, we all spend $12 a month on so much dumber things. Like so much. And I can say that as someone who barely spends a dime, I still spend $12 on dumb stuff in a month. It's 2 Starbucks drinks, really.
It's true. Well, it's like you messaged me, you were trying to get something on TikTok Shop. And for some reason,
what was I buying on TikTok Shop? Mouth tape.
I'm excited for
you.
I do
think that that's going to help.
Okay, wait. So what you're doing the mouth tape for what? Like, what do you need?
I've started to snore.
Oh no, you're snoring?
I've started to snore.
I think I've been snoring a little bit too with my new gummies and mushrooms.
Well, something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I was in Disney with Tiffany and Morgan. Tiffany the next morning goes, you were snoring last night. She felt so compelled to tell me because she's never heard me snore, and we have shared many a room together. So she was like, you never snore. Are you okay? Like, because she was like, are you coming down with something or whatever? I was like, no, I feel good for once. Like, no, I feel good. I can't believe, are you sure it was me snoring? She's like, you were snoring. Then I mentioned it to Joshua when I got home. I said, Tiffany said I snored. And he goes, you've been snoring lately. But I didn't. It's not a big deal to me.
Okay, wait. This is so weird because I have been snoring too.
We never snore. I've never heard you snore.
I've never heard you snore.
I know, and we've slept together a lot.
So something is going on. Something has changed within us.
Yeah. You think you're sleeping so hard and so deep?
I think now I'm sleeping so deeply, and maybe you are.
That's not me.
You're not sleeping deeply.
It was at Disney. I was getting like 3 hours of sleep. I was barely hitting REM. How am I snoring?
Then what? Is this just like an age thing? How are we both now snoring at the same time? This is what I'm saying.
Is this the elder millennial in us that we just start snoring at this age?
Well, the mouth tape is going to help you. I will say that.
That's why I got it.
When I wear it, obviously I'm not snoring, and I can tell, like, lately, I've been waking up and my mouth is so dry because I can tell it's been open all night and I'm snorting and snoring.
Yeah.
But with the mouth tape, the mouth is moist.
Okay, well, that's what we want. I want a moist mouth. You want a moist mouth. everyone wants us to have a moist mouth, I'm sure. But it's they also say it snatches your jaw.
Yeah.
Not that I need that. I already have no, I don't like my like flabby skin, but I already have like quite a
You have a sharp jaw.
I have a sharp jaw with a protruding chin.
Yeah.
I'm not insecure about it, but I know I have it. So I'm like, I always see the people with the mouth tape and they're like, before mouth tape, 30 days after, and the women's chins are like chiseled out.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if
we
that's
believe that?
true, but I do think that there has to be something to it a little bit because if you're someone who is like this all night,
yeah, where it's tilted back like that.
and now your mouth is closed.
Yeah.
I would have to imagine that the muscles that were working to hold it open are different now.
Yeah.
And so I can see how it could kind of change your face structure. I'm not concerned about that.
You just don't want to snore.
I'm just like, if I'm snoring now, that's a new development.
What if we were both just snoring on the cruise?
Well, then fine. Sorry to our Deck 11 peeps on each side of us. We will have brown noise turned up to the gods. We are hopefully our snoring will not supersede that because when I tell you this is exactly what our room will sound like.
Oh yeah, play it.
This is how loud.
That's going to send me to sleep right here.
I know. It's like Pavlov's dog for us. That brown noise comes on and we are in a different dimension. We are Nirvana level. And so we both have it on our phones cranked to the maximum degree. And now these new phones, the volume's louder.
It is louder.
So I'm so delighted.
Okay, let me say that real quick. So not only is it louder on the phone, but then when you go down to the lowest volume, it's still a little too loud.
Yes, it's still a little too loud.
Like sometimes I'm trying to quietly listen and I'm on that lowest there's just a little line.
It's too loud.
And it's still too loud. So Apple, I do need you to fix that. So take our 30% savings that you are getting from our Patreon and fix the volume button.
The volume. We like how loud it is on loudest, but
it's got to go about half of the lowest.
Kind of like some of those, this is stupid. Never mind. So stupid. The analogy was going to be, I think it's too niche and it's too stupid. Anyway, so when you have a gas stove and you turn it down to the lowest, it's still sometimes too high.
No, that's
it's still too much flame.
Everyone understands that analogy. That's perfect.
Still too much flame.
It's still too much flame. Sometimes you need it lower.
It needs to be even lower. And I don't know how gas stoves are supposed to fix that, but it's too high sometimes. You can still scald things.
Yes.
And I feel really strongly about that.
Speaking of scald, I burned myself major. Look at the blister. That's
oh my goodness. From what?
I was grabbing a plate out of the microwave because the door was open. Matt had left it there to cool down, but in my head, I'm whirling around getting breakfast. I'm like, let me get the bacon. And I grabbed it. And these two fingers, like the full weight of it, I didn't drop the plate, but I very quickly set it on the floor.
Yeah.
Like I had to sit it down on the floor and just run this under cold water.
Because it had like the hot bacon grease too, probably.
Yes.
Ooh, that'll burn you.
I was unwell. I put egg whites on it. I was doing all the things.
Is that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah, on burns. When you get a fresh burn, put egg white on it.
I don't know if I can waste an egg white right now.
In this economy?
I hope that you just kind of like poured it over and then scrambled. Okay.
I did because we were making breakfast. So I had all these just empty eggshells and the white was just in there.
Okay, great.
While I was watching Jackie and Shadow on the TV with their hatchlings. I mean, there was a lot of egg happening at once.
Yeah. It's so meta.
It's so meta.
Okay, well, this is another 2-hour plus episode for everybody. There you go.
I can't believe we keep doing this.
I'm sorry. They're happy about it, but I'm sorry for you. It's just more for you to listen to.
No, I enjoy listening back. And I get tickled thinking about then you listening back to it, having no idea what we're about to say.
Nope, it's gone. As soon as the red button goes off, it's gone.
Any given Tuesday morning, I laugh to myself as I waking up laughing. That country album, whoever wrote that. That's me thinking about you listening to it.
Listening back. It is always a surprise. It's always a surprise. And I'm kind of always like, oh, why did I say that? Oh.
No, I make you sound good.
No, I know. But sometimes as I listen back, I'm like, oh, man, Miranda. Or I miss a joke. That would have been great.
Yeah, I hate when we miss a joke.
But really, it's the... I wonder if anybody's going to come for me about that one. Oh, who cares?
No, people don't come. They don't come for us.
No.
Because they don't want to tell us to be better because they don't want me to light myself on fire.
True. Yeah, they don't want that. No. Don't do that. All right, you guys. Well, what is it?
I keep wanting to say cuidado.
I know. Cuidado is our word. It's like continuade.
Continuada.
Continuada
and cuidado. and cilantro. Bye.